Bruins are back from the West Coast.
What the
Is it okay to use this for the radio?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Welcome to the show, you sweet.
Hi, Dan!
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy. Brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us on YouTube. It's very exciting. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and subscribe. You guys subscribe. And then you can call us 617-779-0985. We're in the Town Fair Tire Studios as everyone is recovering from the big Celtics game last night.
Oof.
I
Barn burner.
I mean, John, you weren't there so you wouldn't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you wouldn't know because you were just watching at home. Even if you were watching at home, you were at a soccer game for half of it.
I was.
I don't even think you saw the game, quite frankly. Thanks to the kindness of the TD Garden, you could have gone too. Everyone could have gone, but we were the ones who went. Hardy and I. We were part of the atmosphere.
Yeah, the playoff atmosphere, which totally felt like it in every way except for the competition, the energy, and the
Pretty much came through on TV, too.
and the suspense.
Yeah. It just there was not much
round
there.
round two of the playoffs. Like, let's bring it. Yeah, Cleveland really didn't bring it last night.
No, they did not. But we had a good time. Hardy brought his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I thought you were bringing your wife.
Yeah, and then my daughter got very upset and jealous. And my wife's said,
Oedipal complex.
I don't know. I don't think so.
She wants to kill your wife.
Can you have? Does that work for the girls too?
No, but
Okay.
it just popped into my head.
So, Marcy graciously gave up her spot to Katie, and
Sure, Marcy, who goes, I don't mean to interrupt, but I will several times today.
sure.
Marcy, how many events a year do you think Marcy goes to for a job?
At least a dozen. I mean, there's probably more like 24, a couple a month.
Yeah, like 24 events a year, so I'm sure she was heartbroken.
Yeah, I mean, she would have liked to have gone, but Katie's never been to a playoff, maybe anything. I don't know if she's ever been to a playoff game. But yeah, that was cool. I gotta say, I haven't seen Milo in a long time. Probably last time I saw him was when he was in here to visit, maybe in this building, but I'm not even sure if it was in this building. It was probably over in Dorchester. And it's always kind of fun when the kids, all right, he's still a kid, but also gets to the point where I sat there, and one of the times when you got up last night, Fred, I talked to him for a few minutes. What a great kid, and fun to talk to, and engaging and funny. And I'm like, oh, it's like he's a little man.
Mm-hmm. No, it's like he's like his father. Engaging,
So
funny, fun to talk to.
Yeah, way different from you.
No.
In that he was friendly and had a warm and authentic, genuine smile and an easy way about him, whereas you are curmudgeonly and awkward.
No.
And that's not your son.
I was very charming last night. I was charming to everyone. I was just glad handing around. You should have seen me last night.
Really?
John.
You worked the room, did you?
Oh, was I working the room? I was talking to everyone under the sun.
I must have been watching the game.
Yeah, he was watching the game. I was glad handing. I was laying the groundwork.
Based on what you guys are talking about, Fred had the better night.
I did all that
watching the game.
I did all that before the game started because I arrived.
I was late.
6:45.
I arrived at 7:20. In fairness, now Milo had a game where he came in relief because it was senior night. He couldn't start because he was a freshman.
Sure.
But he pitched last night, so there was no getting him out of the game early. So But I was surprised I got there when I got there.
That was what I enjoyed talking to Milo about, was the state of his baseball team and all that stuff.
Oh,
It was good.
it's a real hoot.
Oh,
He's
boy.
very funny.
What's fun about the baseball team is if the ball goes in play.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
So
You're saying Milo needs to strike a lot of people out.
he does. He strikes an awful lot of people out, but there's
But it's necessary, is what you're saying.
yeah, there's
I
a
get
few
it.
positions where the ball can be hit.
But really, Fred, I enjoyed talking to him. Nice job. Good kid.
Yeah,
done.
I don't know if I've ever met your daughter except for maybe when she was really little. Like I haven't seen your daughter, and I don't.
Oh, maybe at
Yes,
one of your kids' parties or something when Milo was 5 or
right.
something.
Like I haven't seen your daughter in forever.
10 years maybe.
I mean, she looks like you. She was very nice.
Yeah.
I made sure to say goodbye.
Oh, that was.
I treated her like an adult. I was like, you're someone too. Goodbye.
Well, they're borderline. I mean, she's 17. Milo's 16.
Miles 15. Yeah.
15. Tall drink of water, that kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's still growing. You wouldn't know because he doesn't look awkward at all. He wouldn't know.
No, I mean,
He's got one of them haircuts that the kids have.
yeah. It's
That's
not
unfortunate.
Not quite a broccoli top. It's just a mop. You know, he's got. The
Well, he
mop
would
thing
love
going.
a broccoli top. That would be what his ideal was. But
What?
he's been cursed with this straight
Why
hair.
don't you get him a permanent? Get him a.
It's an idea.
Every time you say this, it's something I shouldn't even say on the air because no one cares. But Mark Hamill, Pee Wee football. He was like a year older than me, and he was really good at football. And everyone kind of he was a tough kid. Showed up to a practice with a perm.
Oh yeah.
And eruption. An eruption. It was one of the greatest days out. Like one of those days where someone shows up and you just it's a freewheeling 40 kids making fun of someone. That's a good day.
And well, I mean, the only thing he could have done was shave his head. There's no getting rid of a perm.
Yeah.
It has to grow out.
He was like one of the cool kids and really good at football. And I mean, it was too young to have success with women. But, he was a cool guy that you wanted to like you. But then when he showed up with that perm, he looked like Greg Brady. And we all tripped over
Right,
ourselves.
Greg Brady did it.
Yeah,
That's a
Greg
lot-
Brady had a perm.
And Mike Brady too.
Well, Mike Brady, yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Well,
I'm Mike Brady.
it was a choice for the character, Fred. It had nothing to do
I
with
think-
with Robert Reed. It was a Mike
Robert
Brady.
Reed. Did you know he was gay, John?
I was aware of that, yes. Yes.
When do you host the event with Peter Brady?
Tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah. What's that about?
Journey Forward, great organization in Canton, and it's a fundraiser they do every year. It's at King's, and yes, Christopher Knight, a.k.a. Peter Brady. He's always there. He flies. He's got some connection to Journey Forward. Flies out on his own dime, gives time, and people are, like our age who are there, so they're thrilled to meet Christopher Knight. I think it's awesome. So, yeah, that's tomorrow night.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun. Like he has this event he does every year with Peter Brady, Christopher Knight. But I mean, I don't think Christopher Knight would be overly offended if you referred to him as Peter Brady. He's probably fairly used to it at this point since he's been Peter Brady longer than I've been alive.
Was that his most popular role, though?
Well, he was in Gandhi and in Amadeus. You
Right,
recall in the early 80s, he was in a couple Oscar movies.
Was he Salieri or no? That was F. Murray Abraham. I always get Christopher Knight and F. Murray Abraham mixed up.
Yes.
But
Well,
he
he
was-
never did porno. In fairness to him, Christopher Knight was on The Surreal Life, which I enjoyed. And that's where he married that quote-unquote model of his.
Yeah.
I forget what. And then they had a reality show.
We talked about him coming on the show.
Yeah, you asked. You were very forthright in that you like the guy and that you're doing a charity event. And then we discussed the pros and cons of having Peter Brady on.
Oh,
Now-
Now I remember.
But if it was like July,
Right, that was it.
I would have been like, absolutely, let's have Peter Brady on, even though all the ground's have been covered with Peter Brady, because there was that resurgence of the Brady's popularity. I would say like early 90s, there was like this big resurgence. They even gave him a show, the Brady Bunch show again on network television.
I could find out because it doesn't make sense, and I think it would have been tomorrow morning. We got Bruins tonight.
Yeah, that's
but
the
we
thing.
have nothing Thursday night. We could still have him Friday morning, maybe.
I just don't know what there is left to talk to him about. I mean, if you want him on, but you can pump the charity yourself. So
Yeah.
I don't know. If any listeners have any opinions, you can email us. And should we have Peter Brady on? Now, listen, I've seen every Brady Bunch at least, no joke, at least 30 times. At least. And, I mean, I've watched the Brady Bunch just constantly.
It's like 5 seasons, right? Like
Yeah, it's
100
not a lot.
episodes, 110 episodes.
The
something
first
like that.
season is not good, and I didn't really watch it that much.
Sure.
But the last 4 seasons, even if there was 5 seasons, there might not even have been 5. There might have been 4, probably 5. You're probably right, John. Probably 5. But that's conquered ground. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, there was even an episode of Full House where Greg comes on Dave Coulier and John Stamos' Drive Time, what it is, Drive Time Renegades.
By the way, I'm looking at Brady Bunch Variety Hour, like 2 seasons after they canceled the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, that's famous, but they made a show called The Bradys, which was an hour-long drama that came after the resurgence of popularity.
And then they brought it back. There were like 2 Brady Bunch movies where Martha Quinn is there for some reason, marrying Bobby.
Martha Quinn is there, and that's a Very Brady Christmas.
Very
there
Brady
was
Christmas.
Yes, where
Is that Mike?
he gets stuck. Mike gets stuck in. They do shoddy work. He's told the people. He's an architect. He told the people, build this building a little bit better. It's shoddy work, and then it fell on top of him. And Mrs. Brady starts singing gospel songs. And the next thing you know, he's out of there.
Yeah. Well, it's a Christmas hymn. And is it Frosty? She starts singing Frosty the Snowman, and he crawls out of the rubble.
Yeah, she was like, "Oh, sweet Frosty, save my husband, son of the winter, the god of winter." Yeah.
I vaguely remember that. Do you ever stumble on something like Brady Bunch or any other show? Because this happened to me yesterday, where I've seen every episode, I've seen every second of this show multiple times, and then you see portions of it, or even the rarest of unicorns, an entire episode you've never seen before.
Sure.
Every once in a while.
And it happened to me with Seinfeld yesterday.
All right. Don't tell me the episode. Give me a hint. Was it the first season?
No.
Okay, go.
Later season 6 or 7, there is something going on with George that is giving him anxiety. There's a big hint.
Yeah, thanks.
And then Kramer walks in the front door.
And it is one of, I can think of only 2 episodes where there is a comedian as a guest star who has, I guess, a recurring role.
Okay, so it's John Lovitz?
No,
Fred Stoller?
No, she comes on another episode later.
Oh, Kathy Griffin?
Yes.
Okay, is it the one where she is doing the play about Jerry Seinfeld?
No, it's another episode that she's in.
When he has the doll of George's
Yes.
of mom and she won't take it. And she makes him bring out barbecue sauce.
And okay, so I'd never seen the barbecue sauce scene. I had seen the scene. It's the same scene where they turn George's room into the billiard room.
Yes,
At Frank Costanza.
Oh, that's a great one.
That's a good episode with the maestro.
The maestro,
and he comes
yeah.
over, and I've seen the end when he's trying to conduct and his baton is all bent. But there are huge portions of that, like him bringing the barbecue sauce. He was going on Charles Grodin, and I'd never seen any of this. And George,
She works for FedEx.
yes,
Yeah.
George walks in and he says to Jerry, "I'm on no sleep, bro," which T-Bone used to say to me 10 times a month. And I thought he was just being odd, or I thought he was quoting Zoe, who oftentimes comes in at 10 o'clock in the morning and says, I'm on no sleep.
I've seen that.
Well,
Okay.
I certainly believe that.
So, but whenever T-Bone said that to me, I thought he was goofing on Zoe. He was quoting Seinfeld, and I'd never seen that part of that episode before.
What episode of Seinfeld do they not run in syndication?
Oh.
Ooh,
there is an
give me a hint.
It involves not like a Christmas, but it involves a holiday celebrated in New York.
Oh, I did the Puerto Rican Pride Parade.
Yep. They don't run that in syndication anymore, which is really crazy because they don't make fun of Puerto Ricans. It's ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous that they don't show it anymore. It's not on Netflix. I don't think it's on Netflix, but they don't show it in syndication anymore. Yeah. All right. Well, Hardy, Celtics fans, if you went to bed very early last night, you missed nothing. And now it's no insult to the Celtics.
No.
They played very, very well. Yeah. But we can go through that. Hardy and I were there. We had a bird's eye view of everything. John was out gallivanting around.
I had bird's eye view of everything. That's no trick for him.
Yeah. I mean, like literal. But he can't see in the building, unfortunately. At the Patriots games, he can see.
Can't you get in by way of the tracks and the commuter rail there at North Station? Can't you get in that way?
There's always the chance that you know who the N-word is for birds, bird catcher.
I didn't know that was such
that in Rice. Rice is the fentanyl of the bird community.
But if you really want to insult a bird, just drop the word bird catcher.
And they're like, dude, you're not a bird. Like, if you listen to bird rap, they refer to each other as bird catcher a lot. Uncooked rice is the fentanyl of the bird community. All right, John, he was the one who started it. All right, we'll be back.
Half a grain can be enough.
Do you like how they don't do that at weddings anymore? You could kill a bird. Oh, no.
I know. We can't throw rice at weddings.
Meanwhile,
because a straight pigeon might swallow
meanwhile,
one.
there's steak and chicken at the reception.
I know.
But a pigeon may
That's a
die.
really good point.
Let's
protect the pigeons in the area.
By the way, wait until a bird gets in your house. You couldn't kill that thing fast enough. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Oh.
Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Did you catch a game last night?
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. Hardy, what's going on?
Round 2 of the playoffs. Celtics playing host to the Cleveland Cavaliers last night after the Game 7 win over the Orlando Magic. Quick turnaround for Cleveland, but no excuses. You know, you come in here to the Garden and you do what you got to do, and the Celtics did what they had to do, and it started early with one man in particular.
Jalen, offensive end, pull up on a core, goes left side. Al Horford, first touch for Derek White. Is a 3 in the air and right down the middle.
That boy's hot. That boy hot. Hot as fire. Hot as doggone fish grease.
Timeout, J.B. Bickerstaff.
That was early on. 10-2 was the score at that point. Derek White looked like he was poised to go off, and boy, did he. Jaylen Brown, also a decent night for the Celtics.
Bounce pass for Hauser. He's on a roll. Pump faking on Donovan Mitchell. Throws out to the wing. Waiting there, Jaylen Brown against the Coro. Step back, tough three. Got it. Jalen was in the gym over the last week. That was pretty clear. He's got 20 in the first half of Game 1.
Cedric missed a big opportunity.
Which was?
I call him Turkey because he's on a roll.
How about pastrami? How about corned beef?
Turkey's funny.
Ham.
Ham.
Ham's one syllable. You don't know anything about comedy.
I see.
Which,
Obviously.
Well, I mean,
15 years
sorry,
later.
Wallach, but
15 years later, we're finding this out.
I
do
like
have a
Kenosha's the funniest word.
I do have a competitive spirit in me. And Fred, pastrami or ham? If you had to choose one other than turkey, which one do you go?
Oh,
with?
I'm going to go pastrami.
Pastrami.
I just like
Pastrami's
turkey
funny.
because you're like you're real one of our feathered friends here at Turkey.
Oh boy. So let me save you the suspense. Jaylen Brown led all scorers with 32 points.
Which is actually kind of funny because it seemed like
Not all scorers. I'm sorry, Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan
33.
Mitchell's the only person who scored at all for Cleveland, but the and he didn't even look that great. But it seemed like Derek White. I mean, it seemed like he couldn't miss at all.
It's interesting because if you go back 4 or 5 years, and Jared Weiss, who we just had on the show, was tweeting about this last night. Derek White couldn't hit an outside shot if his life depended on it 5 years ago, and now look what he has evolved into. The game is easy for him, and he happens to be the Celtics' best shot blocker too.
I thought he looked like the best.
amazing.
Yeah. I thought he looked like the best player on the floor last night.
Yes, he is. I mean, he hits threes when he's open. He hits threes with people in his face. He drives to the basket. He's great defensively. He's one of the 10 best defensive players in the league, according to the voting last night.
7 for 12 from three-point territory. Meanwhile, Al Horford hit one early on the baseline, but he was only 1 for 5, which is one better than Jason Tatum. 0 for 5 from three-point territory. 18 points, but 4 of those came from free throws. Derek White's 25 points included 0 trips to the charity stripe. So that's a night that Jason Tatum can't afford to have.
Derek White enters to Tatum. Tatum attacks, scores, and the foul. Drive home safely. Just another workman-like, business-like, what's next-like effort from the Boston Celtics here in Game 1. It's the same show we have seen from Game 1 through Game 88.
120-95 your final.
Cleveland, obviously, it's Donovan Mitchell and just a bunch of other guys. But the other part of it is, Jared Allen is their one chance to have any impact at all on what the Celtics are doing. And when I say that because I watched over and over and over again the Celtics drive right to the basket. Al Horford would stand out on the perimeter. Evan Mobley, their best defensive player, would follow him out there. And then Tatum, Brown, White, Holiday would all go to the basket, muscle through, and lay the ball in. Cleveland had no chance in this game. They may have no chance at all to win a game in the series if this keeps up.
And to continue with your point, there were times where Hardy and I saw they were triple teaming Mitchell. Like Davis,
yes.
Like if Mitchell was at the top of the key, they would have his defender, and then they'd have two defenders come. Like there was almost like a triangle in front of them.
The other thing is the Celtics are very well suited for this particular guy because Drew Holiday and Derek White are fabulous defenders, and you have enough big guys there. Luke Cornett was really good last night.
Well, the offensive rebounding was insane last night, too.
But, I mean, you have, even with Porzingis not there,
right?
You have the perimeter defenders, and then you have that second layer behind them. So, yeah, Donovan Mitchell's going to have to take 25, 30 shots a game like he did last night to give Cleveland a chance of winning a game, let alone more than that. So,
yeah, I mean, if Cleveland wins the game, fantastic. I don't care. I don't care if Tatum gets hurt or Brown gets hurt. I mean, I do care because it sucks for the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is a cakewalk. This is not going to be there was nothing. This wasn't like the Celtics were unbelievable and they'll never duplicate this again. And this is just the Celtics are the better team, but they were super hot. This was a real mismatch. A real mismatch.
Well, yeah, they held. Looking at it on TV, I'm sure it looked different where you were.
Oh, yeah, believe me, it does.
They kind of held Cleveland at arm's length, and then started hitting their shots in the fourth quarter, and that was the end.
Yeah, it was really well. I mean, at arm's length. I mean, if arm's length means well into double-digit leads.
I said it seemed like the lead was anywhere from 10 to 15 for most of the night, and then the Celtics got serious.
Yeah, there were moments in the second and third where they could have cut the lead if they hit a 3-9.
Yes. That was my point.
Yeah.
Arm's length to me is like barely double digits.
Sure.
That's
like
what that
there were times where that is true. There were a few times where Cleveland had the ball, and if they would have made a 3, they could have cut the lead to 9. That is true. But to my recollection, and I'm probably wrong, it never got closer than 12. Anywhere after halfway through the second quarter.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm wrong, feel free to really let me have it. But that was the feeling that I got.
I mean, but the point remains, Fred. It never felt there was nothing going on from the Cleveland side of things last night that made you nervous. Not once.
No.
I mean, early on, after the Celtics jumped out to an early lead, at some point it was like 23-21. You're like, okay, this is mildly interesting for a moment. But after that, I tell you what, I don't know if it's going to be a mirror image out west of what's going on here, but last night, Oklahoma City had their game one against Dallas, and Dallas made a little bit of a run, but the final score eerily similar, 117-95, and that's a series just based on the first game alone. You think, all right, what does Dallas need? What are they missing? You can look at Cleveland and say, okay, injury here. You get Allen back in, that could end up being, something. Is Dallas missing out on anything right now that could provide a spark for them, or is that looking like 4?
Doncic is playing like crap.
He's playing hurt too. He's got a sprained knee he's playing on, but ultimately it's the same thing. Oklahoma City is that good. Dallas should maybe get a game, and that'll be it. I mean, Dallas is like Cleveland in that they have a very specific path to win a game. Cleveland has to have Donovan Mitchell go crazy. Max Strus has to make 6-7 threes. Darius Garland has to play well, and then they might be able to overcome what the Celtics have. The Celtics, like you were saying, Fred, Jason Tatum could get hurt. Celtics could still win a game or 2 or 3 from this team. But Cleveland has to do things and get contributions from everyone just to make sure they win a game. And the same thing with Dallas. I mean, Oklahoma City is really, really good if you have not paid attention. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a finalist for the MVP award tonight.
Yeah, and that would be a really, really fun series, Minnesota, Oklahoma City. And you would normally think, like, why Minnesota, Oklahoma City? Who the hell wants to see that? Because two really fun stars. I mean, Anthony Edwards in Alexander. I mean, oh, boy. Yep. I mean, that's fun. And, boy, no one's overreacting about – look, Anthony Edwards, as you know, is my favorite player in the NBA to watch.
Yep.
A little bit of overreaction. He's Kobe. He's Jordan. I mean, this is the new thing going on.
Well, Jordan actually came out and said he reminds me of myself a couple of weeks ago. That's where all this started.
Yeah, I know. But in fairness to Anthony Edwards, he said, like, come on, stop comparing me to Jordan. That's completely unfair. But he's really good defensively. He seems to want – to win. He seems to thrive under pressure. He seems
on
to be a team leader.
He's on the Olympic team. He's on the Olympic team, and he's going to get serious minutes this summer in Paris.
Oh, he's going to be the biggest. I don't have any doubt he's going to be the biggest star
But I mean,
in the NBA.
that's where this conversation starts. How good is Anthony Edwards? He's on the Olympic team. He's one of the best 12 basketball players on the planet.
Yeah, like I don't think there's any doubt in 5 years Anthony Edwards is the biggest star in the NBA. Certainly no one in this draft's going to be. And again, Wembanyama is going to be rookie of the year and everything else, but he's a big man. Anthony Edwards 6'4" and jump out of the gym. Even that's the guys who become stars. And Tatum's great, but it's just he doesn't have that game. That's not his game. He's not
spectacular.
No.
You don't. I agree with you there. You don't cut together highlight reel moves from Jason Tatum. He is workmanlike. He is really good. But he's not a guy who's going to fly through the air and jump over two people.
No, he's strong and big. He's
Yes.
not a high flyer. And we talked to Ainge about that when they drafted him. He's not like remember when he used to give us so much problems and then I went to Ainge, come on. And Ainge was like, yeah, dude. He's not like, as NBA players go, a like incredibly like springy, like crazy, like athlete. Remember the garbage we got in this room? What do you mean he's not a good athlete? He's a NBA player. Oh, okay. No, that's great. Yeah. What do you mean he's not tough? He's a boxer. Well, Tyson could beat him. He's a boxer.
He's grading on a curve.
Yeah, it's just...
So
you're saying he'd be the best at the Y.
Knicks and Pacers play their game 2 tonight. A little bit later on, we've got some reaction from Knicks fans after they beat Philadelphia.
But I really hope it's Boston, New York, but I'll tell you what. The Knicks fans are really annoying, and it's not the older ones. It's the younger ones. We will be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
Celtics beat Cleveland 120-95 in Game 1 of their best-of-7 second-round playoff series. Jaylen Brown, 32 points. Game 2 is at TD Garden tomorrow night. Bruins visit the Florida Panthers this evening, leading that second-round playoff series 1-0. Judd Surratt and Bob Beers have the Duncan pregame at 7 and the face-off at 7:30 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The Patriots will reportedly interview Philadelphia Eagles director of scouting Brandon Hunt today for their top football executive position. And the Atlanta Braves beat the Red Sox last night 4-2. Interesting game tonight between these two teams. Chris Sale will start for Atlanta against his former squad. Sports Hub headlines are driven by the Albrecht Auto Group, Zoe's Auto Dealer. Get respect.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Do you think that might be it?
I hope so.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Hey, everybody. We are back for the 13th Hoosier Caddy Classic, benefiting the Pediatric Advanced Care Team at Boston Children's Hospital. We're teeing off early with an online auction live now. Visit 985thesportshub.com/caddy. You can bid on the following 3 items until May 13th. You can play, you and a friend can play with Hardy and I. You and a guest can play with Felger and Maz. An autographed Rob Gronkowski football is available. Regular foursomes for the tournament go on sale June 10th. Now, do they really go on sale? Because these are things that, like, is this just an exercise of, like, when a job opening happens and they list it, but they have no intention of giving it to that job?
No. They go on sale, but the tournament generally sells out within 3-4 minutes.
Yes. Okay, so there are actual foursomes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, so June 10th at Brook Meadow Country Club. They go on sale May 14th at 10 a.m. Thank you to Long Drink, FootJoy, PXG, the Seaport Hotel, and the Alamo Draft House.
The foursome, which includes you and me, Fred.
Oh, yeah.
Current bid on that, $1,500.
So it's been stagnant for 24 hours.
Yes. The Felger and Maz foursome, where you can bid on you and a guest to play with Felger and Maz, is currently at $1,025. The Rob Gronkowski signed football, which you would not shut up about, and you're like, yeah, it's amazing. That is $250 still. So if you want to follow Fred's advice, you can bid on that, because is a very...
That's not what I said.
What I'm quoting you now, it's the greatest piece of memorabilia one could ever hope to own, and you should mortgage your home in order to get it.
First of all, I thought it was
End quote.
I thought it was a silent auction. I thought it was not a silent auction. I thought it was an auction item at the event. I didn't know it was up for sale now. I just thought that was teasing what the auction items would be.
No, that is one of the 3 items you can bid on right now.
I think, but the person who told us that the hockey stick signed by 3 Bruins was worth more than a signed Gronkowski football, Bertrand said it. And he looked. Oh, yeah, you said it, but then Bertrand looked up some fishy numbers. Like, where did he find a hockey stick signed by those 3 particular players? Like, it's just. Believe me,
HockeyStickAuction.com, of course.
Yeah, believe me, I know my way around the memorabilia game. Don't challenge me. I sat at home during COVID, buying ridiculous crap. Do you have a Julius Garland signed basketball from his rookie year?
I do not.
Do you have a tiny Archibald?
Julius Randle?
No, Darius Garland. Sorry.
Darius Garland.
Do you have a Nate Tiny Archibald signed mini hoop?
No, I do not.
Do you have?
I have a soft spot in my heart for Tiny. He was here.
Do you have? Well, it's a Celtics one. Yeah. Do you have a D Brown signed Reebok pump?
I thought you traded that one. Oh, no, you got that from Esoteric.
No. Esoteric wanted to trade me something for it, but all he has is Star Wars toys.
What is the problem?
Do you have a Larry Johnson signed NBA Jam high top?
No, I do not.
These are all things I own.
LA Jam.
I say you open up a museum. That's what I say.
My son's living space is essentially a museum.
Maurice Cheek's signed jersey. You still got that?
Did I sell that? I don't think I could sell that. I have a Ron Dane signed Wisconsin jersey.
Dane. Oh, man.
I have an Anthony Volpe signed jersey if anyone would like to buy it.
Well, I was going to ask you what's the most random piece of memorabilia you own, but you just named 5. You can just pick one.
Yeah, I own a Sean Kemp signed jersey. I mean, these are not things I picked out. Well, the 2 things I framed, I didn't pick them out, but it was basically gambling. I got big boxes of memorabilia, and you hit some. I framed Kareem, and I framed Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah,
that's good.
Someone says, my friend Eric says, "What's the bid to penetrate you and Hardy?" Well, I mean, good looks.
I mean, that's a situation where you're just, if you're at Brook Meadow that day and we hit it off,
Anything goes.
I mean, who's got poppers?
I'm not going to if you have a nice smile and amyl nitrate, then maybe it just happens, and there doesn't have to be any exchange of currency.
Yeah, I mean, if you put your foot underneath the stall door,
Right.
then anything could happen.
Maybe that's just how it goes.
Sure.
I have a pom-pom that was given to me by Jim Louth for Christmas one year. Actually, 2 of them. 2 Elias Brother Big Boy branded pom-poms, has the logo on the handle, from up until recently, the last Lions playoff victory. So it was from 1991.
Oh, the Cowboys.
Somebody saved 2 of the pom-poms from the Silverdome that day, and Jim found them online and bought them for me.
What a day that was. And then what did they do? Go into Green Bay, and that was the one where Sanders rushed for like negative 20 yards?
That was not good.
I was the year 91. I was a sophomore in high school, and that was the last year they'd won a playoff game.
91 was the year they made was that the year they made the NFC Championship game and got blown out by the then Redskins?
No. They beat the Cowboys and lost to Green Bay in the divisional round game.
Okay.
I recall. There were still 3 playoff games before the Super Bowl then, right? In 91?
That was a wild card, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
But they won their division, but I don't think it was the NFC Championship game that they lost in.
No.
No, I'm almost positive it wasn't.
That was... I can't remember the year. I can remember what grade I was in. I think I know the game you're talking about.
It was 1991. They beat Dallas 38-6 and then lost 41-10 to the Redskins.
Oh, that was the Redskins year.
Oh,
Okay.
Redskins. Oh, my bad. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I knew it was a crappy field.
Yeah. 12-4 under Wayne Fonts that year.
Yeah. Imagine if he wasn't constantly high.
That would have been a problem, right?
I don't know if he was always high. He did see UFOs that one night driving home.
Or how about the time he got pulled over with Coke in the car and he goes, "Oh, it's my kids."
Right.
What a guy.
Well, you're supposed to be honest when you speak to a police officer. So,
yeah.
If your kid had Coke in your car,
that guy can't win for trying.
Yeah, Wayne Fonts was, and then the William Clay Ford was just like, whatever, whatever you want to do, you go ahead.
Yeah.
We're loyal.
All right, let's go to the Stanley Cup playoffs here, where Rangers went to 2 overtimes against Carolina last night.
Panarin shot blocked by Slavin. Follow-up is free. They score! Vincent Trocheck wins it in overtime for New York.
7:24 of the second overtime. They take a 2-0 lead in their second-round playoff series.
That was a power play goal.
Yes.
How do you get a power play in double overtime? That guy must have really done something to get a power play in double overtime.
He must have decapitated
Seriously,
somebody.
I mean, what happened to give the Rangers a power play?
Well, the fact that they're the Rangers.
My God, that wasn't home. That's true. It was at MSG.
Anything happens in MSG.
Also last night out west, boy, Dallas must have thought they were in the proverbial catbird seat, jumping out to a 3-0 lead in the first period. They're at home. They're taking on Colorado. All going well. Wait a second. All of a sudden, it's tied up. Now we're in overtime. What's happening?
Big hit there in behind, and Tagliano zooms it ahead. Wood with speed. Wood drives in. Backhand. Score! Miles Wood, the hero in overtime.
Yeah, you take that. You take that. Colorado gets the 4-3 win. They are up 1-0 now in their best of 7. Congratulations. Overcoming a 3-0 lead.
Miles Wood, BC kid.
Force overtime and get the win on the road. So,
yeah, and Anaheim, right? It was Anaheim that got the first pick in
San Jose.
Oh, San Jose. San Jose gets the first pick in the draft, and everyone likes the little kid out of BC.
BU.
I'm getting everything wrong.
Macklin Celebrini. Freshman won the Hobie Baker Award this year.
Yeah, he's 5'1", 110 pounds. He is going to be, but they say he's a generational talent.
His numbers were unbelievable at BU.
I saw BU play, and I couldn't. I what do I know? But I couldn't have told you who the best player on the ice was. I wouldn't have known. And but yeah, he's 17. Good for him. In the year where there's probably people playing for BU and BC that are like 26. Good for him being 17. I'm not kidding.
No. I mean, look at Mason Lowry, who spent like 2 or 3 years at junior and then went to Ohio State. I mean, he was in college when he was 22 and was like a sophomore.
And he never got his teeth fixed.
Red Sox opened up a quick 2-game set in Atlanta last night. They lost 4-2. Tonight, as Wallach has already mentioned, who are they facing tonight, John Wallach?
Chris Sale.
How about that? Nick Pivetta gets the ball opposite Chris Sale for the second of 2 tonight at 7:20.
All that history between Chris Sale and the Red Sox, all that fabulous history.
That's not great.
No. I wonder how that kid is 17. Good on his parents. They didn't. There's so much pressure to start reclassifying these kids, especially in hockey and all this stuff, and just keep playing in prep school and this, that.
Right.
Well, I'm rooting for him. Celebrini, I'm rooting for you. Probably listening right now. You're a huge fan, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Most of them are.
I mean, most college kids can't get enough of sports talk radio.
No,
so.
well, they get up early and listen before their classes. And, we're happy to have them listening along with everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, we're part of the zeitgeist. We're part of what's going on in Boston. We're part of the fabric of the city. In fact, when you come into Logan Airport, you'll hear, hey, this is John Wallach. Welcome to Boston.
Is there
where the players play?
Where is Rollins College, in what city, Fred, or what major city is it closest to?
Orlando.
Okay, could you name an Orlando morning radio host while you were in college?
Stern, but the midday show was Monsters of the Midday.
Okay, so you did know a midday show.
And Ed Till was on in the afternoons.
Yeah,
Ed Till had something to say about everything.
Mm.
No, I listened to the radio all the time in my car in college. I never listened to morning radio.
Morning radio, that was my question.
Yeah. The morning radio, I never listened to Stern. I love Stern. I wish I could have, but I never listened to it. Monsters of the Midday, though, got in trouble. Guess what they got in trouble for? There was a pedophile that went to jail, and they were saying he should be killed. And what happened to the pedophile in jail? He was murdered.
Huh.
Oh.
And they were brought to trial. They were ultimately not held accountable for it. But
the radio guys?
So the Monsters of the Midday, there was this high profile. I don't know even if it was when I was in college. I don't remember it on the radio, but there was this high profile. You can Google it. There was this high profile pedophilia trial, apparently in Central Florida. Monsters of the Midday started by buying their own time, by the way, and they were on this hot talk station, and they had done this big campaign that this guy, obviously he's a pedophile, but they were like, he should die, he should die, he should die. And sure enough, the guy got murdered in jail. So I think the state or the guy's family tried to find the show and the company culpable of him being murdered in jail. Much stranger things have happened. Yeah. Believe me, it's not overly difficult to get someone into court. I thought I was going to get sued last year by saying someone didn't contact me. So, you can sue someone for anything. But it was a hostile work environment from someone making the same amount of money as me, a man. All right. We'll be back in just a moment, which is the toughest thing in the world to do as a grown man. Tell on someone for being hostile. And that's going to go over great with the blue-collar kids. We will be back in just a moment.
You're listening to... From the Town Fair Tire Studios, home of the Celtics, Bruins, Revs, and Patriots.
Touchdown, Patriots.
Boston's home for sports is 98.5 The Sports Hub. Easily immediate root station. Sports Hub headlines.
The Celtics opened up their second-round playoff series with Cleveland last night, and Jaylen Brown immediately took over.
Bounce pass for Hauser. He's on a roll. Pump faking on Donovan Mitchell. Throws out to the wing. Waiting there, Jaylen Brown against Okoro. Step back. Tough three. Got it. Jaylen was in the gym over the last week. That was pretty clear. He's got 20 in the first half of game one.
That's Sean Grandy and Cedric Maxwell here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Brown scored 32 points as the Celtics beat Cleveland 120-95 in game one of the best of seven. Donovan Mitchell scored a game-high 33 points for the visitors. The Green will host game two tomorrow night. In other NBA news, Western Conference top seed Oklahoma City had no trouble with Dallas in game one last night, 117-95. Rudy Gobert named the NBA's Defensive Player of the Year. Also, the Rangers beat Carolina 4-3 in double overtime. They lead that playoff series 2-0. Colorado beat Dallas 4-3 in overtime in game one. And the NHL playoffs hit closer to home tonight because the Bruins are back in action. They visit Florida this evening, leading that second-round playoff series 1-0. Judd Surratt and Bob Beers had the pregame at 7 and the face-off at 7:30 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. San Jose won the NHL's draft lottery last night. The Patriots will reportedly interview Philadelphia Director of Scouting Brandon Hunt today for their top football executive position. And the Atlanta Braves beat the Red Sox last night 4-2. This two-game series wraps up tonight down in Georgia. Chris Sale will get the start for the Braves. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by East Coast Metal Roofing, the official roofing partner of the Boston Celtics. Mention 98.5 The Sports Hub and get 10% off your new roof. Visit eastcoastmetalroofing.com. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
This is Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown turns the corner. Finger roll is up and good. Scoring the foul.
Listen to home of the Boston Celtics, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Now, more Tuncher and Hardy on the...
He participates the whole show.
I did. I said good morning. First thing, I haven't been back. I can go there and take a look right now and see what horrible things are being said.
Yeah, he's on there. So if you want to talk to a member, are you on there, John?
I'm not.
No. So Hardy's on there. He's talking to you. You post as Hardy, or are you someone like called
Rob Poole? I'm just.
Oh, you're just your government name.
Yeah.
Wow, that's bold. Did you give him your address and phone number too?
Sure. Come on over. Let's visit. Let's sit a spell.
It's funny. I went out with this girl and she was coming by my house and I said, I'm like, do you need my address? And she told me what my address was. She had looked it up.
Oh.
No, I don't think it was weird. It was just that. And then she's like, you might want to block that. And I'm like, well, how the hell do you block that? How do you block what your address is? It's not like the yellow pages.
How do you take yourself off all these government lists?
Yeah, exactly.
How does that work exactly?
So I'm like, you got to show me how to like.
You can put your phone on the do not call list. That's easy enough. But I didn't know.
I'm not putting my phone on the do not. I mean, did you put your phone on the do not call list?
I have in the past. Yes, it runs out after like 2 or 3 years, and then the telemarketers can go get at you again.
Yeah, I got a text from someone yesterday. The number I didn't know. Going, is this Fred? Like I'm going to reply, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
I've gotten one of those.
Tell your friends.
Yeah. Is this Jonathan?
Yeah.
Oh, clearly you know who I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay.
Oh yes, psycho. Sure,
Absolutely.
This is me. Like,
please.
When
have
did we
at it.
meet?
What do you want to talk about?
Right.
I must have like signed up for like some anti-spam thing or do not call list that expired because I think they expire after a certain amount of time.
I was just telling Fred that. Yes.
Okay, so the number of calls I get from New Jersey, Colorado, and there's one other state where they come in from, and they don't always show up as spam.
Right.
And every once in a while, it's like you think it might be a customer service thing or something, and I've let stuff go to voicemail. I'm like, damn it, I really needed to talk to them. So I probably pick up more than I should, and it's 1 out of 100 is someone who's even actually there. There's something weird about when you answer the phone that throws them off.
Yeah.
Oh, the best is that, like, if my daughter or son are in the car, I'll answer the phone and, like, I'll screw around with the person. And I did that, and then the guy kept calling me back as if it was worse for me than him. So say that, like, his job is to sell whatever he's selling. It was solar stuff. And so,
Yeah.
like, and he gets paid per sale. Like, the exercise of not answering his phone call is much easier for me than him calling me over and over again. As if I was like, well, I F with the wrong guy. He's calling me a lot now. And then so I just gave my phone to my daughter and just had her answer the phone. And he'd go, it's me again. And my daughter would go, hi. and then he would be like, and she'd be like, okay, hey. And then he'd be like, yeah, it's me. And she'd be like, yep. And then he'd hang up and like call again. And I don't mind the phone ringing. It really doesn't bother me at all.
You getting the electric meter calls? Oh, you're maybe that's just in Canton, but I thought it was a statewide thing. Something about the electric meters. They're all changing over.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The water meter in Newton, and they're like, hey, you got to call this company.
You got to do something about your meter, dude.
But it's real. They're like, you have to come out and get this company to come out. It's really the Newton government. You have to come out and get this water, get them to change the water meter. Like, you have to do it. What percentage of people do you think are doing that?
I talked to one.
Zero.
Okay, so I have one neighbor who's like on top of like all this stuff in terms of like the utility costs and all this stuff. And I asked him flat out. I said, "Do I have to do anything?" And he said, "No."
There's no way. You do it. You didn't have school for a month. You figured out how to do that. You come out and do the effing water meter, you jackass.
What?
Yeah, call this private company and get them to come out. F you.
What does this have to do with the teacher's strike?
Oh, I don't know. What does it have to do with paying?
What does
it have to do with paying $20,000 in property taxes?
Not that he's still pissed
how about $20,000 in property taxes? You come out and give me a reach around while you do the dumb meter. Call you and get the private company. Last notice. Yeah, I'll get right on it. And any of you that did it are dummies and come out and call this company. Get out of here with that.
Yeah,
Throw
time
it right
to
away.
stand out there with your tambourines and signs. You changed my meter. What?
Don't get hit by a car.
What?
You can't get people to vote. You think that you're going to get people to call a company and schedule an appointment and then stay home and then stay home for a 2-hour window so they can help the effing government?
2-hour window. You're cute.
Well, fine. 4-hour window, 6-hour window. Like, I'm going to do anything for you. Get the hell out of here with the amount of taxes you charge. Screw it. I thought it was hysterical. They keep sending the letters like, hey, final notice. Oh, is it? What, are you going to shut my water off? Good luck. Could you imagine with the maniacs in Newton, the library, gray-haired ladies in Newton, and not like old ladies, just ladies that let their hair go gray. You know what I'm talking about. People who love to walk. If you started shutting off people's water, the anarchy that would ensue in that town.
Yeah.
I mean,
the problem is the older people, they're the ones who actually do these things.
Oh, if you think my parents who are in town right now could figure out how to put 2 and 2 together and get that done, you got another thing.
I don't think you give them enough credit. I spoke with your mother, and she seems like a very sharp and very.
I didn't say she was mentally deficient. I just said if you think that this whole thing was going to go without a hitch, you got something else coming.
No, mentally deficient. That market is cornered by Nick Gemelli, who spoke with us yesterday. Nick, I'm kidding. You're an absolute prince. You're a lamb. And we interviewed Nick. I thought it best, Fred, not to subject everyone to the 4-minute interview again. But not everyone heard it yesterday. What we did was we sat down with Nick and just asked him why he has to go back and forth between the producer's studio and the other studio, right? And he made all types of explanations, parentheses, excuses, about YouTube and social media videos. But he's supposed to be screening phone calls and posting the podcasts and this, that, and the other. What I thought would be a better idea, Fred, was to take a couple of the outtakes from the interview, which did not make it to air yesterday, and really just the highlights of the things that Nick had to say to explain himself yesterday and put it into a minute-long recap. So here it is. This is Nick's explanation of why he does what he does during his interview with me a couple of days ago. Just in minute encapsulated form.
When Dan speaks into the mic, it turns off everything in the studio, so I wasn't able to see. Wasn't able to hear anything. So this, I have no idea what this is. That you can use this for the radio. Yes. I should be saying. It should be. No. YouTube, Reels, Instagram. In our room. You can. I could. So what you're getting to is I should be concentrating on answering the phones.
Questions have been asked.
By who? By you and Fred?
Have you ever asked yourself?
I don't like this.
What Nick sounds like when he's speaking is if you took a New York Times crossword puzzle, you thumbtacked it to the wall, and took a handful of crap and just threw it at it.
No.
That's his brain trying to think of what to say. Or if you took a game of Boggle, went 80 miles an hour down the freeway and just took it and put it out the window and let the letters scatter everywhere.
I should be saying it should be no.
But we got a few things cleared up yesterday and the day before, and I think Nick feels better about things, about him having to go into that other room, or as Nick calls it,
in another room.
And yesterday he was planted in that chair for the entire show. I haven't seen you leave yet today, so things seem to be okay.
Well, Lockhart just had knee surgery, so Nick's responsibilities now have grown.
No.
And it's odd because he is staying in that chair even though he doesn't have to answer the phone now, which would mean that more than ever he could leave that room.
Were there videos yesterday on
Instagram?
No. Okay.
No, he took yesterday off.
Well, that's it.
You don't have to do one every day, Nicholas.
No, you don't have
No.
I just remember The Office every time that gets played.
Oh, the opening montage thing, right?
When they try to make the viral video.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Thank you, Nick.
That was him just thinking. Play. That sounds like someone lifting 1,000 pounds. Like if I told you this is the Olympics and this is the Paris Olympics and this is the weightlifting competition.
This is the deadlift. This is for a world but not only an Olympic record, but would be a world record in the deadlift for the Hungarian powerlifter.
And that's just him thinking. So what a normal person picking up 500 pounds would sound like is Nick thinking. It's as difficult an exercise. Well, look at Nick. He's at home. All right. Jared Weiss. He was at the Celtics game. No, I'm doing it.
Now you're...
Weiss was at the Celtics game yesterday. He will talk to us about what's going. We can even start projecting this Knicks series. The Knicks were handed their game, by the way, in Indiana. Did you see what they did with the Pacers?
Yeah.
They got kickball that wasn't a kickball,
Exactly
and
right.
then they called a moving screen that wasn't a moving screen. Like
you think the NBA wants Boston and New York?
Oh my! Well, they don't have to do anything with Boston, but yes, I think the NBA wants nothing more than the Knicks in that finals. I mean, that's 2 series in a row that they've really, at the end of the game, handed it to the visiting team. I mean, it's really something.
The Knicks are a skeleton crew too, and they're still winning. I mean,
well, they play 7 guys.
I know.
I mean, by the time they play Boston. With between Thibodeau and playing 7 guys, they're going to be in wheelchairs. I mean, the Boston's going to destroy them. There's going to be no competition for this team until the NBA Finals. None. None.
That's what it looks like.
It's almost a shame. I just wish there was a little bit of pushback.
I'm not rooting for that. I'm fine with the way things are.
Oh, I don't know, like like a battle, like for the Eastern Conference.
It'll be look
a title much more satisfying.
If this works the way we think it's going to work, you'll get plenty of competition in the NBA Finals.
Not if it's Oklahoma City, but we'll see. All right, so we'll be right back.
In the office, in your car, in your footy pajamas, this is how Boston sports fans start their day.
I bet you're just jealous.
Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
There is White. Enters to Tatum. Tatum attacks, scores, and the foul. Drive home safely. Just another workmanlike, business-like, what's next-like effort from the Boston Celtics here in Game 1. It's the same show we have seen from Game 1 through Game 88.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. Jared Weiss covers the Celtics for The Athletic. He joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Jared, hello, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. I hope you were able to sleep. I'm sure your adrenaline was pumping very hard.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah,
of course not.
I mean, it was tough. I mean, it was electric. Okay. After last night, let's just start with this series. Is there any way Cleveland can put up a fight? Did anything happen last night that Cleveland can correct?
Not much. I mean, Darius Garland has just been so up and down during the postseason, so obviously they can get a lot more from him. I mean, him shooting 2 for 8 from 3 was probably as bad as it's going to get with him, so there could be some uptick there. They can get a little bit more out of Max Strus for sure. The only real variable that can, I don't know, flip the series, but bring the series a lot closer is Jared Allen returning from his rib injury that they're calling a rib contusion, but it seems like it's a pretty bad rib contusion. So, we don't know what his timeline is.
You mentioned.
Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, no, you mentioned Max Strus, and he was one of the guys I was worried about going into last night. I'm not saying that the series is over by any stretch, but what did they do with Strus last night to make him so uncomfortable? 5 points, I think he ended up with in 35 minutes on the court.
Yeah, I mean, they have really good personnel for guarding him. And just usually Max Strus, where he gets his stuff is he's a really good screener. And so a lot of defenses that he's going against, he'll screen off whoever's guarding Mitchell or Garland, and then he'll end up wide open, and the defense has to recover. And the Celtics are just good at avoiding that. And so he doesn't get a lot of that stuff. And then when he's doing his own like curls around a screen and all that kind of stuff, he wasn't really shaking loose a ton either. And then he shot 1 for 5 from deep as well. Like they shot 11 for 42. They had a bad shooting game. Donovan Mitchell was incredible early in this game and then just didn't really hit a ton of those later and had to do most of his work in the paint. And then Sam Merrill, who's their sharpshooter off the bench, he went over 4. So there was a lot of really bad shooting luck for them. Derek White had a great shooting night. Jaylen Brown shot 4 for 6, and we know Jaylen Brown's going to have a 1 for 8 game at some point in the series, and then he's going to probably have like a 6 for 9 game. So there's going to be some up and down shooting in this series, and I'm sure Cleveland will have a night really shoot well enough to at least take 1 at some point.
Celtics always take and make a lot of threes. I think they led the NBA in both categories during the regular season, but was it me, Jared, or did the Celtics make an effort to go to the basket more without Jared Allen there?
Yeah, I mean, my whole thing coming into the series is how much can you pull Evan Mobley out of the paint and have him on Jason Tatum, have Al Horford in the pick and pop to try to get him out there a little bit more. And I think they did a pretty good job of finding ways to work around. They have their play where they kind of just put 2 guys on an island and try to attack that, and it gives them an advantage. They ran that like 30 times last night. I mean, they were just spamming that play over and over again, and that's something they usually do with Kristaps Porzingis out there. And so I thought it was pretty revelatory that they were doing it without him a ton. It just, I think, shows that the Celtics are feeling pretty confident in their scheme to the point that they don't even really care what personnel they have out there. They're still going to run their stuff.
Let's say Kristaps Porzingis during the course of this series feels like he could play. If you're the Celtics, would you play him?
No. I don't think he's going to. It doesn't seem like the series is going to go long enough for that to even be a factor, because I feel like he's going to probably be out for like 3-ish weeks at the very least. So I'd be surprised if that were to happen. Obviously, the series could end up going 6 or 7. Sure, if they get to a game 7 and he's remotely close, you probably play him, right? but it seems pretty unlikely we're going to get to that point.
Let's just stick with the Eastern Conference. Is there a team left in the Eastern Conference you think that the Celtics would need Porzingis to win?
Probably not. It would be. I mean, I think Indiana and New York are better than what this Cleveland team is. I mean, this Cleveland team has just been very inconsistent, and we saw what happened when they face a team that actually has an offense. Because Orlando's offense was not that good, and Boston's offense has been very resilient all season, no matter who was out there. So, they could probably get away with not having him back into the finals, but. You also, even if that was the case, you want him to not make his return for game 1 of the finals against Minnesota or whoever it ends up being, who thought we'd be saying that even a week ago. So you want him back during the conference finals so he can get some reps under him so that he actually has a rhythm by the time they get to the finals. But, I mean, no matter what the East looks like, you never just presume you're making the finals. New York has been so resilient all year. We saw how the end of that game went. So you need all hands on deck if you want to make it to the NBA Finals.
I watched Luke Cornett last night, and I was impressed by the way he played. Now, some of that may have had to do with the fact that Jared Allen wasn't in there, but the Celtics are going to need their bench at some point. It looks like they're playing very well at this point.
Some of that had to do with Tristan Thompson being out there, who I appreciate his effort, but he definitely looked kind of washed out there. I think Luke stepped up in a way that he doesn't often for this one. And I think a big part of that was Donovan Mitchell in particular really, really wanted to attack him. And Cornette held up so well. He wasn't really making positioning mistakes. He wasn't hacking at all. He was just going straight up. He had the right position, and he got so many stops in that game. And so, the 10 rebounds obviously stand out, but he had a lot of stops at the rim, and he had, one foul in 21 minutes? Mm-hmm. Like, to have one foul going up against Donovan Mitchell, that's really impressive. And so this was just one of his best games. And obviously the bark was probably the biggest contribution anybody had on the Celtics roster that game. So that's where Luke Cornett's bringing the goods. And then, the funny thing is that Peyton Pritchard had a terrible shooting night early on and shot his way through it, ended up pretty decent. And Sam Hauser went 0 for 1. And Hauser was the first sub coming in before Pritchard, and Pritchard ended up outplaying him to the point that they stuck with him for the rest of the game.
Yeah, Hauser made me look like an idiot last night because I was at the game with my daughter, and she's like, "Who's Sam Hauser?" I'm like, "Oh, he's in there. He's kind of a specialist. He's a 3-point shooter. Watch this." And no,
nothing.
He was more of a defensive specialist last night.
Yeah, exactly. They did make Tatum. Well, but we were talking about this earlier, Jared. Tatum did not have a good night. Were they making him uncomfortable? Were they doing something effective defensively? Did he just have a bad night? Was it a combination?
Tatum just has those nights where his shot just isn't right. He's missing those kind of pull-ups that he usually buries. I didn't really see anything in particular, but there were a few plays where Okoro had a good angle on him, or I think Mobley might have had a couple contests if I'm right. But Tatum's not always going to have a great night, and he's still. He still ran the offense pretty well. He was really aggressive on the boards. What do you have, like 3 blocks out there? I think the big thing with Tatum that you'll notice is as the game went on, his rebounding got really aggressive. He was flying past Evan Mobley for some of those. He was getting way up in the air. That's a really good sign. That when you're deep in the postseason and one of your key offensive players isn't in rhythm, a lot of teams, that guy just kind of fades away. Like Darius Garland was someone who didn't really make much of an impact on this game. And you saw Tatum finding different ways to make an impact. And I think him just really dominating the glass and protecting the rim, that was where he showed it.
Well, you can set your watch by the Tatum, I'm just going to back this guy down and kill like 8-10 seconds on the shot clock and take the shot no matter what play. And it normally comes after he's missed 2 shots from the field. And he missed a couple last night. He made one, but it's uncanny. You're sitting there watching like, oh, here it goes. He's got guys out on the perimeter, but he's not giving that ball up. He's just going to back it down, and he's going to shoot no matter what.
And there's going to be a team that they face at some point that's going to really make him pay because he's not, like, for instance, if they face Minnesota, there's not really anybody on Minnesota that you can just go target and abuse to find your rhythm. He needs to be smart about the way he goes about it. I think Tatum at this point has demonstrated enough self-awareness and he's had enough experience that he'll recognize when he's going up against a team where he can't really do that. And so I would, if I'm a Celtics fan, I would trust Tatum to be responsible and do things a smart way.
Isn't it funny that everyone made fun of the way Minnesota put that team together, and now having those two bigs, everyone is saying is brilliant, and Karl Anthony Towns is, because of Anthony Edwards, been able to, respect his game finally. And
he's no longer the number one, and with all that pressure, he fits in nicely as a number two.
Yeah. Just remember, everyone was like, what the hell? You got Gobert. Why'd you trade for Gobert? And now it's like, wow, you guys could win it could be a situation.
Held Denver to 80 points without the NBA's Defensive Player of the Year 2 nights ago.
That's the fascinating part, is that, I mean, obviously Gobert has been amazing for them, but it's really everything else that's happened around the Gobert deal that's been so good for them. Like, J.D. McDaniels has really turned the corner as one of the best defenders in the league. They got Nickeil Alexander-Walker in that Mike Conley trade, and he was like a scorer that was kind of falling off and not really having a role in the NBA. He's turned into a great defender. Like, they just have Chris Finch has just turned everybody into really good defenders there. And now that Ant is defending his ass off, it's like now he's basically Michael Jordan, but a little bit better. And they just, doesn't really matter if Gobert is out there. They're still affecting Jokic basically every single moment he's on the floor, and that's why they're playing so well. And so that's what makes Minnesota so scary for Boston or whoever faces them in the finals potentially. It's like they're going to disrupt you no matter how you play.
All right, Jared Weiss, you'll see you Thursday. He's covering this series for The Athletic. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you, boys.
Thanks, Jared.
Take care, Jared.
All right, if the league has their way, it will be a Celtics-Knicks final, Eastern Conference final, and the Knicks fans know it, and they are acting the fool. We will have that for you in just a moment. Here are the headlines. get this in. Not only is it the wrong thing, he needs a second. Take it, Wes.
You be nice to Nick. He suffered through an interrogation already this week.
And listen, I mean, he had stuff to say like the following.
Well, he got a little tripped up. He was not expecting the cross-examination to go the way that it did, but yeah, he didn't panic under the pressure.
And you were sure you weren't talking him through a stall door.
I should be saying it should be no.
How many times you started talking just going, oh.
Yeah,
I think that's what it sounded like when his now wife came into him when he was covered in feces laying in the bed.
Yeah,
she was like, Nick, are you alive?
I don't know if do you think he was making any sound or was he silent?
No. I mean, he was alive. So she's like, Nick. And then she put his hand on him and she's like, oh, poo. And then she put her hand on him and then she started shaking him and he was like,
yeah.
He said, I know. This poo shouldn't be here in the living area. It should be
in our room.
This is, he sounds just like Jerry Lewis, like when he's like,
yeah,
the thing. He's Andrew Dice Clay. And then I went to this chick and she, no. All right, we are back as we give Nick time for the 13th annual Who's Your Caddy Classic. 13 of them. Jonathan.
That's amazing. I've been there for all 13 of them.
I know. Benefiting the Pediatric Advanced Care Team of Boston Children's Hospital. So don't say we've never done anything for charity. We're playing golf. We're teeing off early with an online auction live now. Visit 985thesportshub.com/caddy. Give Nicholas all the time he needs. You can bid on the following 3 items until May 13th. Look at that concentration on that boy's face.
He's working. Leave him be.
Looks like he's defusing a bomb.
Nick, Daddy's got you. Don't you worry about him.
Oh man, this is not helping. You guys staring him down.
Oh man, well, of course.
Down is
well,
not
you know what's not helping? Having something for him to do. That's the real problem. If he can just sit there, he's great.
He is not. He is feverishly working.
I believe me, I know that.
Yes, you can
I can see that.
Yes.
He looks like when you show a baby keys the first time. Ooh.
Plastic keys, yeah.
They're like, ooh. He's still. Let's do the thing. Let's put a ball under a hat and see how long it takes him to find the ball. Where'd it go? It was just here. Where'd it go?
It's right there.
Where? No, just a hat. And then he kicks the hat, and the ball rolls with it. Nope. Because it was sitting right there, and then I moved the hat, and nothing happened. No, you pick up the hat, huh? And then he picks it up with the ball still.
Is that legal?
You can bid to play with me and Hardy. No one's bid since yesterday. It's very sad. And you can play with Felger and Maz. Felger was very funny about that. Apparently, Hardy said Maz real prick.
Oh, no. With me. And we are both pricks to each other on the golf course.
All right.
You may find this hard to believe, Fred. I may be a bigger prick to Maz than he is to me.
I have a feeling you're just going to be upset with me. And in autographed Rob Gronkowski football, I'm playing Saturday or Friday with my father, so at least I'll have played once.
Okay.
Regular, I'll probably play it a couple of times. I can't promise anything. I'm going to be nervous because I know you're going to be on me. I actually am going to be nervous playing with Hardy because I know he's going to be on me.
I played with Hardy at the company golf tournament. He's a delight to play with.
I'm a good time. Look,
yes,
Fred. The key to playing golf, I feel, be 2 of 3 things. Either be good, be fast, be fun. Right?
Yeah.
And good, there's never been
2 of the 3 is even better.
So play quick and have a good time. Don't take it seriously. Don't get angry. None of us are good enough to get angry.
Did we not play 9 holes, the two of us, at your club last summer? Did we not?
You know why you stopped it at 9. He couldn't stand you.
Well, no, we've played. Wallach and I have played golf together 2 or 3 times.
All right, but is he going to be handled when I put the exploding ball on the tee? I mean, I have fun with that.
I love that gag.
He'll never see it coming.
I bring a lot of bags of confetti.
Sure.
No, what you know what a good one is? You put a tampon inside the head cover of the driver. So when someone takes their driver head cover up, a tampon flies out. You're like, oh, you're a woman.
Oh, that never fails.
Or you go on eBay and you say, who's selling tampons? Regular force the tournament. I mean, this is as much. I mean, this read, I'm really giving him time. This is good radio.
$1,500 we're up to. Felger and Maz are at $1,025.
Felger and Maz are going to lap us because no one's bidding on us anymore. 15 is where we're.
You don't know that. That's not true.
If you want to win, if you think that you want to bid on something and you want to win, you should bid on Felger and Maz.
Because Zolak said it yesterday. 2 very different afternoons that you're signing up for.
They're going
to with the 2 sets of people
because both those guys can play.
Yeah.
So and Fred and I are just out there to have fun.
I mean, you can look at Maz and understand that he's an athlete.
He's got weird old Italian man skills. He's great with a putter, very wristy, but he'll sink a 20-footer and then go home and grow you a hell of a tomato.
Well, speaking of Italian food, Ric Flair was at a pizza place in Florida.
Well done.
So just remember that Ric Flair's at a pizza place. This is not this is even like a beach bar. This isn't a club. This isn't Capitol Grill. This is a pizza place in Florida. He's cut off.
Mm-hmm.
Now I am not ashamed to say I've been cut off. One time at the Kentucky Derby Day at a bar. I was cut off once in Philadelphia. Not a ton of times I've been cut off, but I have been cut off. I've been cut off probably 5-6 times. Are you saying something? Go ahead.
I was going to ask a question regarding this, what you have your finger on the pulse over there. Did you at any point, maybe perhaps in the last commercial break, say to Hardy that you wanted to switch things up and go to some other audio? Perhaps of the Knicks? No, because the Ric Flair stuff has been done for hours. It was the Knicks stuff that was...
What is going on? What just happened?
Flair stuff is done.
What is happening?
I told you we were going to do the Ric Flair thing here.
Nick.
And then you said that's not done. I said that's fine. I'll handle it. We'll do the Ric Flair stuff here. I said I'll tell
that's
Fred.
what Nick was racing to do. The Knicks, the Knicks.
What?
Well, it doesn't matter. Here's the Ric Flair thing. That was an unnecessary thing. You could have told me after, and then I really would have laid into Nick.
Okay.
Well,
all right.
I apologize.
You have options.
I have options. Thank you. Well, guess what? I just set it up, Dan.
Okay.
Come on.
So a WWE wrestler walks into a pizza place.
So he walks into this pizza place.
Paisanos, get it? Because it's a pizza pie.
But it's really just it's like a bar at a pizza restaurant.
Stone-fired pizza, Fred. It's not some, it's not a hot and ready. This is a stone-fired pizza joint.
So he is there. They've cut him off, which has got to be hard. By the way, it's as light as it's noon. I mean, the sun is blaring through the windows.
Yeah.
And here is Ric Flair.
Yeah, good. Well, I didn't do it wrong. Except spend money and put this place over and bring my family and friends here. That is bad for you.
Why would it be bad for you?
Well, watch social media tomorrow.
I don't follow social media.
All right, so this manager is kind of a dick because they cut the guy off and then they're taping him. And Ric Flair is telling him that he brings a lot of people into Paisanos, and this is a mistake. Mm-hmm. So no one here is innocent. I mean, this guy's trying to go viral because he's taping Ric Flair drunk. And Ric Flair is, being drunk. Now, it is the middle of the day, and he is at a pizza restaurant. I don't know why you just wouldn't leave and go to the other bar, go to, the whatever's next door. But maybe the atmosphere at this pizza restaurant is really something else. Perhaps a child's birthday party's coming in.
Well, you better. What's your name, job? Nicholas what? Nicholas Head.
So he goes, my name's Nicholas Bobon. And then he goes, no, it's not. It's Nicholas F. Head.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
You know, like
he changed his last name.
Or otherwise known as Nick
Yeah.
Gemelli. You say the same thing. It's the same joke.
I didn't do one thing wrong. I walked into the bathroom.
And you cussed on my kitchen manager.
Oh, you're a kid I accosted. Really? What world do you live in?
Same world you
What world do you live in? How did I accost him? I never say a cuss word. You know, is that his word against yours? I didn't say one cuss word. Ma'am, I'm going to give you $1,000 tip just to say to him, kiss my ass.
Now that I like. So Ric Flair goes to the waitress. I'll give you $1,000 if you tell the manager to kiss your ass. Which, when I was a waiter, if you gave me $1,000, I would have literally made him kiss my ass.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking the last time I waited tables, and in that year, at that time, that point, that would have tripled my net worth. So I
made
absolutely would have done that.
$12,000 at Jocks and Jill's one year. My W-2 was $12,000.
Were you out of college?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I was out of college and I was dating a girl. Her father did my taxes. It was the same amount. I may have made $16,000, and he looked at me and his very nice home and said, "This is what you made last year?" And as I was dating his daughter, I was like, "Yeah, pretty good, huh?"
Yeah. My share of the rent was $500 a month.
Yeah.
And that gave me. I remember I told you before. I would go to the grocery store, and if someone was buying magazines, I'd be like, "Whoa!" Like, how'd you get? You're gonna buy a mag? Those things are $3.
I know. You're disrespecting me.
How am I disrespecting?
Telling me to leave.
I'm not telling you to leave, but just telling you that you're cut off.
Oh, I'm cut off and I'm drunk? Really?
Yes, sir.
You're a dip.
Thank God.
Come outside here and talk to me like a man.
I'm not going to do that because I'm on the clock.
You push you. You're in the clock.
That's right.
Come out here and talk to me like a man.
Well, I mean, this is no surprise. Hulk Hogan said that he's never seen him drink water. And there's a story where Ric Flair goes to the hospital. He has surgery. He gets wheeled out. Hulk Hogan comes to visit him. Ric Flair goes, "Get me out of here." Gets in the car, stops by a liquor store, and grabs a six-pack. That's the first thing he does right out of the hospital. I mean, the guy's. I mean, he is really a triumph to the human resilience. I mean, the guy has. Hulk Hogan's never seen him drink anything that wasn't an alcoholic beverage.
How old do you think Ric Flair is without looking?
72.
I would say 70.
75 years old.
And he's still alive.
Still alive,
and
despite his best efforts to the contrary.
Balls to the walls alcoholic. He doesn't have like a colostomy bag, nothing, like pills, everything. And he's still kicking, baby.
According to Ric Flair's social media post, I was asked to leave because of an issue I had with the kitchen manager taking too long in the bathroom. Now, I think this could be a grammatical error because it makes it sound like the kitchen manager was taking too long in the bathroom. Pretty sure Ric Flair was taking too long in the bathroom.
Well, I mean, he had to chop everything up. And,
it's all
sure.
And he had to get the baby diaper change thing down.
John Mulaney. Thank you.
Yes, that's the only reason I know. I never bought cocaine, so I am going from the word of others. But it seems like the most rational thing to do is if you could lock the door, that you would take the baby changing table down because it's most likely fairly clean.
Well, as Mulaney says, when you're in that state, you see the world in a series of flat surfaces.
Yes. And would you rather do rails off? Because there's really no back of the toilet anymore because they're always it's just that metal spout. So if you're going to do rails, you're not going to do them off the sink.
No, but you can do them off the back of a urinal. You've got a ledge there.
Yeah, I'd much rather go baby changing table than urinal.
It kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah,
you got a bit of a Superman thing going on at that point. Nothing will kill me. Nothing can hurt me. This isn't even.
Oh, I don't doubt that I would do it. If I ever got into cocaine, I would have done it off of anything, including your penis. But I'm just telling you, I mean.
Wow. Well, it's never too late to try.
All of a sudden, there's little freebase types like laying.
Marty's eyebrows just went up. Yeah.
all of a sudden, I'm all of a sudden like, wow, I feel pretty jazzed up right now. Wink.
Seems like you'd waste a lot if you did that.
Yeah, and it also seems like it would have the opposite effect of probably what you wanted.
Yeah.
If what I hear is true. I never did cocaine. I've never done cocaine. Can't say I have.
I'm really missing out.
I really am. You like Jimmy Stewart? You like wrestlers?
Jimmy Stewart is one of my favorite people, and he has graced us with in helping out with yet another Jimmy Stewart game. I say another. I think it's 2 that we've done all time. But
there might be 10 Jimmy Stewart games a year.
Oh, I would not be opposed.
All right, so our newest Jimmy Stewart game coming up in just a moment.
in the eighth to beat the Red Sox last night 4-2. Chris Sale will face the Red Sox tonight as they visit Atlanta again. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Eastern Diabetic Care. Are you using a Freestyle or Dexcom continuous glucose monitor to manage your diabetes? Eastern Diabetic Care of New England provides awesome customer support with on-time home delivery of all your supplies. Visit easterndiabetic.com. That's easterndiabetic.com. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
If you've got the app, you've got Toucher and Hardy to wake you up no matter where you
Or
are.
who may or may not have been to jail.
Get the app. The 98.5 The Sports.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us on YouTube. Simply search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and get involved in the chat. Hardy's on there. It's he gets extra for every time he posts. All right, Hardy, we're so fortunate to work with James Stewart. He's one of the best producers in all of radio, let alone sports talk radio. He's had success everywhere he's gone. And he's a man with his finger on the pulse of all things wrestling.
He truly is. But we thought it might be an interesting exercise on the heels of Racehorse or song from one of the Rocky soundtracks. Maybe if we could delve a little deeper into the social aspects of wrestling, maybe some of the more culturally insensitive wrestler names over the years. So today we are going to play, is it the name of a racehorse or is it the name of a racist wrestler?
Go ahead.
All right, so I'm going to give you a name. You have to tell me whether it's the name of a racehorse or a racist wrestler. We begin with Arabian Cobra. Arabian Cobra, is that the name of a racehorse or a racist wrestler?
Because I'll tell you why. Arabian seems like something that horses are from. I know that I heard a guy complaining that all the good studs are being sent to the Middle East. I'm saying that is a horse.
What do you think, Walt?
I want it to be a wrestler so bad. I'm going to guess wrestler.
Fred, you say Arabian horse is, or the Arabian Cobra is a horse?
That's right, horse f***er.
That's right.
Jesus, Jimmy.
Whoa. Wallach, on the other hand.
Wrong, you racist pig.
That's right.
No. I don't know which is worse.
It's Arabian Cobra is, in fact, a horse. Now, try and guess this one, boys. Mustafa Ali.
Well, that's going to be a wrestler.
That's absolutely a wrestler.
That'd be
no question. That's
that'd be an awful inappropriate name for a horse.
Correct. Now go join the United Nations, bright boy.
Okay, let's hear Jay Stu tell us about Mustafa Ali.
Mustafa Ali worked for a long time as a police officer in Chicago. 4 years, in fact. He competed in the WWE Cruiserweight Classic as a replacement. He was the leader of a villainous stable called Retribution.
Oh.
Nice music.
Yeah, well,
how long did it take?
It's Pakistani. It's Pakistani folk music.
How long did it take Jay Stu, once you asked him about this idea, to give you the names of the wrestlers that he thought were racist?
You know what? I will take credit for coming up with the wrestler names. So I think this is more impressive on Jay Stu's part. Once I gave him a list of about 8 or 10 wrestlers that I thought were racist, he had the audio back to me in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
He's like, I can absolutely give you the biography of every one of these guys. That's no problem.
I'm a historian.
That's no problem. All right, moving on. Try and guess this one, guys. Mr. Fuji.
Oh, well.
Now,
that's a wrestler.
Now, stop it.
It's not even a wrestler. It's a manager.
Let me ask you, is this a racist wrestling character, or is this the name of a racehorse? Think about it before you answer.
Well, Mr. Fuji, of course, was a crafty, almost Charlie Chan-like character that managed many men. I think he might even had Jimmy Superfly Snuka at one point.
Even before that, he wrestled as a tag team with Mr. Saito. They were the tag team champions.
You got it right. Now go make some minority friends.
Okay, that's not even necessary.
Oh, Jay Stu, I'm a friend of all cultures. Hey, by the way, Team Kendrick.
Jay Stu?
In the Drake battle.
Mr. Fuji is a WWE Hall of Famer. He is a former multiple-time tag team champion, as well as managing champions, the Magnificent Morocco, Demolition, and Yokozuna. Mr. Fuji is also known for his evil ways of throwing salt at opposing wrestlers.
I always found that very odd. Like when wrestlers would be like cutting each other and stuff, and then they go, "Oh no, you just don't throw salt. You just don't throw salt. Oh, he's blinded. Oh, you blinded him.
Like never mind that big gash in his forehead.
Yeah, never mind, that you've like snapped his neck and that you've done a move called the backbreaker. The salt is what he can't get over.
Oh, I can't see.
You're doing very well in this game so far, and
Mr. Fuji,
that's the whole
easy.
That's the whole point of this exercise.
We're no novices.
Astroman. Is that the name of a racehorse or
that's a horse.
That would be the worst gimmick ever, and that wouldn't even be racist.
Well, it sounds like Afro Man, but what if he's like an African American astronaut? Astroman. Really think about it.
Well, why would he be how just because he was black and an astronaut? That wouldn't make it racist.
Wallach, just say wrestler.
All right, I say wrestler, Hardy.
Wrong again, James Earl Ray.
Jesus Christ.
I respect why you had me say that. That's pretty good.
We got Fred to say Jesus Christ. Normally it's me or you that says it. You know what I've learned? Give Jay Stu lines to read. He'll read every one of them and record them.
Wrong again, James Earl Ray.
Jesus. God. Go ahead. What's next?
No hesitation.
He's the man who killed Martin Luther King, by the way.
Papa Shango. Is that the name of a racehorse or a racist wrestler?
All right, now we're getting into something. Because I've never heard of Papa Shango. It doesn't sound like overtly like a name of that you would call a minority or a stereotype. Papa Shango.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that's a horse.
Wrestler.
You're going wrestler, Wallach?
I am.
Right answer, but you're still the wrong color.
Okay. Yeah, I don't even know what that means.
Wow.
He believes in Nubian gods.
Let's hear Jay Stu tell us about Papa Shango.
Papa Shango. He most famously made the Ultimate Warrior throw up on live TV due to his voodoo magic. Ooh, voodoo. 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 Papa Shango is not to be confused with Kama, the Supreme Fighting Machine, or the Godfather.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't
know.
By the way, Esoteric extremely disappointed in me.
Why?
Because he said that how could you he goes, shame on you. Papa Shango is a wrestler.
Okay.
How would you not know that? Can you imagine paying to see something where a guy puts voodoo on a guy so he throws up? Oh no, this is just unfair. He put voodoo on him, now he's puking. I want to see blood. Oh, no, Papa Shango put diarrhea on him. Now he's got diarrhea.
Kodiak Prince, racehorse or racist wrestler?
All right, I'm going horse on this one.
I mean, I know my daughter dates a kid that dips, and she calls him the Kodiak Prince.
Okay. All right.
I'm horse.
Horse.
How would that be racist?
That's horse.
That's right, horse f***er.
That's right. You guys know your horses. Well done.
What did you call me?
That's right, horse f***er.
There is one thing I'll give someone credit for is they went to that movie Zoo at a theater. And by a theater, I mean they put a screen up in a room. I will give him credit for that. That was very brave. Go ahead.
Chief J. Strongbow.
Oh, that's a come on.
Esoteric,
Come
please.
on.
I'm not this.
Correct. Now go join the United Nations, bright boy.
What is what? How could this be racist?
Let's find out.
Chief J. Strongbow, whose wrestling career began in 1947. He was trained by second-generation Native American wrestler Chief Don Eagle. He was a standout in the Georgia and Florida territories of the National Wrestling Alliance.
Top of his head.
Top of his head.
He won multiple tag team championships and was also the first Georgia National Wrestling Alliance national television champion.
Oh, my God.
By beating Assassin number 2 in the finals.
Okay, so you're listening and you're like, big deal. He's like reading Wikipedia. No. Like, he knows all this stuff.
Correct.
Like, he was in the Georgia territory back before Vince ruined it. There used to be territories. Emphasis on terror.
Jay Strongbow wrestled with his brother, Jules Strongbow. They used to wrestle Mr. Fuji and Mr. Saito. Jay and Jules Strongbow, Italian.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know,
So, but
that's like Scarface when they're like, you couldn't find a Cuban guy anywhere.
But in an effort to be more culturally sensitive, Chief J. Strongbow was trained by someone of Choctaw descent, and that's why we heard the Choctaw flute there.
I see.
I am paying attention to these things. Finally, gentlemen, Mexicali Rose, racehorse or racist wrestler?
I'm going to hope it's not, you're not ending on a horse.
I know, it sounds like a horse.
It sounds
to
like
me,
a horse,
too.
but maybe it's a female wrestler? Female wrestler.
Wrong again, James Earl Ray.
All right, that's just unnecessary. I don't want to be associated with that man at all.
Okay. All right. We'll end on what you want here. Harlem Heat. Is that the name of a racehorse, or is that the name?
Well, that's
of
the name of a porno I own. Starring Vanessa Del Rey.
I'll go wrestler, Hardy.
It stars Dominique Simone and Vanessa Del Rey, and it's called Harlem Heat.
Vanessa Del Rio.
Because, sorry.
Vanessa Del Rio.
Thank you, John. John, a fan of the
what's wrong
African
with
American
you?
queens. I will tell you, is that there were occasions that porn got a little racist. Depicting pimps and hookers.
Incorrect, David Duke.
Yeah. Fair enough. I voted for the guy.
Harlem Heat. Are we going wrestler on this one?
Yeah.
Wrestler.
Right answer, but you're still the wrong color.
James Stewart, please tell us about Harlem Heat.
Times to win a title and lose it.
Yeah, it does.
Like 10 times. Like that means you lost it.
You can only put a guy over so many times. Why after
Am
5?
I doing the math right? If you won it 10 times, you lost it 11 times?
I guess.
I'm sorry I let you down, Hardy. Thank you for doing that. And James Stewart, as always, you're the best. Your knowledge.
You got it right. Now go make some minority friends.
Okay.
In Boston? It's not like in Atlanta or Detroit where, like, yeah, it's going to have a lot of minority friends because they're everybody. Boston. It's not as many minorities, let's be honest.
Thank you, James Stewart, and thank you for your love of wrestling. Really, it was...
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the...
Get up.
The cat is finally out of the bag.
Get up.
We're back, Toucher and Hardy.
Get up.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Mike Gorman.
We'll raise the bar right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen. People are very impressed that you do the show because you're slumming it, and they're like, "Why does Gorman do that dumb show that does bits like is it a racist wrestler or a racehorse?" Mike Gorman is the voice of the Boston Celtics for NBC Sports Boston. He joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Mike,
let me start, Fred, if you don't mind. Biggest applause of the night, not on a Derek White 3-pointer, not on a big defensive stop. Mike Gorman up on the big board at the Garden last night. Huge round of applause. The place went nuts, Mike. It was good to see you.
Yeah, that is really. I couldn't put into words when that happened the first time a couple of Sundays ago, and I wasn't ready for that last night either.
Yeah. I texted you. I figured you were getting a million texts, but I wanted to be one of them. The last broadcast, perfect. The way that it ended, perfect.
Now they just won a championship and a duck boat parade. That'll do it.
Well, is the East any? I mean, this is as easy as they're ever going to have a path in the East, don't you think?
Until you get to the Knicks, and the Knicks may be so tired of playing because the Indianapolis folks there, they run up and down the floor like crazy, and they have played 10 guys on a regular basis. So the Knicks could have no legs by the time that series is over. But I do think the Knicks will win that series. I think Boston, New York, in the Eastern Conference Final is better than you can hope for if you're a basketball fan. The winner goes on, takes on Minneapolis.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, you're in the camp I'm in. The Timberwolves are up 2-0 on Denver. You like them?
Denver's not going to win 4 in a row. Excuse me. That loss for them in the second game the other night, that was a killer. You could split at home and still be alive in a series like that, but you can't go 0-2 and that team's going home. They may force a game 5, but the Ant-Man's the real deal.
Oh yeah, I want to talk to you about him. Is he going to be the new face of the NBA?
Yes. Yep.
More than Wembanyama?
Well, yeah, you're right there. That's a good one. I think he might be because he's going to be. Wembanyama is down there in San Antonio. This kid's going to be in the middle of the country, and he'll get a lot of play there. I think he's more spectacular than.
Yes.
And he plays both ends of the floor. At least he does right now. I just that's a good choice in what do you call him, Webby, or whatever his nickname is down there. That's a good choice, but I'd still go for the Ant-Man.
Okay, there's no way Wembanyama is going to be the face of the NBA. That team's not winning anytime soon. Minnesota could very well win a championship. They're going to most likely win the West. Anthony Edwards is 6'4". He can jump 11 feet in the air. No one is the face of the NBA is not going to be some tall, freaky kid that just blocks a lot of shots. Yeah. It's going to be a 6'4" guy that reminds people of Kobe. People are comparing him to Kobe Bryant. It's crazy with the comparisons right now. And you're right. He plays defense. He leads that team. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Wembanyama is so good, why did San Antonio suck so bad? Like, it's almost like Edwards he willed Karl Anthony Towns into being the player he is now. He's really something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I tell you what the Ant-Man does. I've literally never seen another player do. When most guys go up to dunk, they're leaning forward, but they're on an angle, say, of 10, 11 o'clock maybe. You watch Ant-Man. He goes up and he kind of he levels off for a little while. And all of a sudden his whole body becomes parallel to the court. And that's how he dunks. It's like it's truly like he's flying. If you slow it down, it looks like he's flying. He's a remarkable talent. And he's had time to grow. He's not coming out of high school, so he's been around for a couple of years already. He's just a terrific player.
And by the way,
I've been just taken by a player in a long time. He's fun to watch.
If I could pay to watch anyone, it would be him. And it's like, by the way, when he came out, he wasn't a sure thing. He couldn't shoot threes, and he's now. And you see now because he was a freaky athlete, but he couldn't shoot, and now he can shoot. Like, he's taught himself to shoot over these last couple of years. I'm very excited by him, and I think it's great news for the NBA. Tremendous news for the NBA, because you have your stars are all retiring, right? And I don't see like Doncic becoming like a sensation like a Jordan or a LeBron or a Kobe. He's just too close to the ground, and I don't think Dallas is in any danger of winning anything. Anthony Edwards, I'm with you, Mike. I'm very excited by him. I'm not always a huge NBA guy, and I'm very excited by him.
I think if we get, which I think we will, get the Celtics and the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Final, and then the Celtics against Ant-Man in the final, that's going to be about 3.5 to 4 weeks of really good basketball every other night. Because the Celtics are the best team in basketball. They're the best team, but Minnesota might have the best player.
Yeah, Hardy and I were at the game last night because we're big shots.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, but we were in a box, and so I figured you were courtside.
Actually, we were 15 rows back on Section 2, which is a great place to watch a game. But then when we were downstairs to get something to eat, one of the ushers came up to me and said, "There's a courtside seat that hasn't been filled. Do you want it?" I said, "Yep." So we sat courtside for the second half.
Yeah.
Must be nice.
Yeah, well, I mean, people seem to know you around there.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, too, if you're the Celtics, you don't want to see courtside seats empty. You want to put seat warmers in there right away. The worst thing is to watch the camera go up and down the court, and that first 2 rows on any team is empty, because that used to be the broadcast positions, John, where we used to be able to do our thing.
Yep.
And now it's they sold all those, and we go to 7-7s.
All right, so you're at that game last night. You're watching this Boston team. Give me any thought on how Cleveland can make anything competitive. Could they change anything they've done to make this series competitive?
Well, they missed a lot of front rim shots, which was just a sign of a tired team, and they had every right to be tired after a 7-game series. They posed it 21-21 was the score, and then all of a sudden it was like 50-21.
Yes. And they never got within more than 12.
Never single digits. No, yeah, right. Never got to single digits at all. I don't think there's anything they can do. Donovan is a terrific player, who's just a terrific offensive player. The other kid at the point has not played very well.
Garland.
I've seen Garland have really good games, but not very well right now. And after that, if they don't get Allen back, it's, Mobley's okay, but he's okay as a forward. If he has to play the center position, he's too thin, and people push him around. I don't see it. Maybe, but I say that, and then we all witnessed what Miami did in the second game against Boston. So maybe there's some way they get in Cleveland and the place goes nuts, and, Donovan Mitchell goes for 55.
Well, we saw him.
He's fully capable of.
Yeah, we saw him go for 50 in the last series. But I'm wondering, Mike, you've obviously seen a lot of basketball. I'm watching Donovan Mitchell play, and he is a kind of a different kind of scorer. He's one of those strong kids that can knock down an outside shot or go to the basket. Does he remind you of anyone, any player you've seen in the past that's that good a scorer but that strong as well?
Yeah, Andrew Toney. Remember him?
Oh, yeah. Early 80s, they called him the Boston Strangler.
Yeah, Philadelphia.
It's true.
Yeah.
That team that underachieved.
Yeah.
He had the same kind of body build. I think he's a terrific player. And he hasn't committed to stay in Cleveland, which is too bad for the Cavs. Because if he just gets and leaves, that program goes back back to scratch again.
I'm wondering, you've seen the Knicks play, and we'll just get back to the Knicks because I do think it'll be the Celtics and Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. Thibodeau's playing 7 guys. He just lost Mitchell Robinson for the rest of the season, and he's playing his starters about 45 minutes a game. I think they're going to be completely gassed by the time they get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they will be no match for the Celtics.
Well, that could happen, but then once that's gone, in 3-6 months from now, you're talking about the Knicks having reached the Eastern Conference Finals, and that'll sell a lot of tickets in New York, and that's what Tibbs is trying to do. Tibbs is trying to win tomorrow. He doesn't care about a week from tomorrow. The front office might, the management might, but he doesn't. Yeah. And if it means he plays Brunson 48 minutes. He plays in 48 minutes. That's all there is to it. And because he wants to win the game now. And I like that. That's who I want to be associated with. I don't want somebody who's trying to play for 2 years from now. It's worked in Oklahoma City, but I still don't like that approach. I like Tibbs' approach. Let's see what we can do right now.
Mike, can the Celtics ultimately succeed if Jason Tatum has more nights like last night than not? And I mean, obviously he didn't play well, but he's drawing a lot of attention. He's allowing other guys to get open. If if he doesn't have a monster 2 or 3 games in every series and put up 35 or 40, can they win the whole thing with him essentially just taking the attention of multiple defenders and leaving other guys open to do the lion's share of the offensive work?
I would say yes if Derek White continues to play like he's playing.
Right.
Because White now steps in, he gets 30. It's not like he steps in and assumes that role that you're talking about, which I agree with you. Is the ball used to stick a lot in Tatum's hands back 2-3 years ago. Now he catches the ball. He's looking to make the first pass. He's looking to get the offense going in the half court, and that's a big step forward. And now if they can get everybody else to play on the same page, then I think the Celtics might cruise through this whole thing. But there is a tendency to go back to that one-on-one play out on the sides when things get tough. And that's not the way they should go. They should go the opposite way and make 6 passes, 7 passes, 8 passes in the front court, which Cleveland actually did very well, especially early on in the game. They ran their offenses very well.
Yeah.
And the ball was flying around. They just couldn't make the shots at the end of it.
Yeah, couldn't shoot.
But everything was done. I was funny. I was sitting on, for the first half, I was 8 rows, 10 rows back in the stands, right along the baseline, but in the stands to the basket that Cleveland was shooting at. And it was just, everything was on the front rim. Because you just had the perfect line of sight to see it that way. And every single shot they missed was on the front rim. And that's the sign of a tired team.
Yep.
So hopefully the coaches will be smart and they won't wear them out today and they'll be competitive tomorrow night. I don't think that's going to happen, but it would be nice if it did.
Yeah.
All right.
I just want to see a competitive game.
Yes.
That's all.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
it would be nice. I mean, it would. You're watching it. It would be nice if the other team, put up some sort of a fight. I mean, last night was never in doubt. It's just not as fun. You're absolutely right. And I think the league definitely wants the Knicks Celtics because the end of the Indiana game a couple nights ago was, again, a series of mistakes by the officials, calling kickballs that weren't kickballs and calling fouls that weren't fouls. So the league is really whatever is going on in Madison Square Garden certainly got the refs shook. But I'm sure you've seen that before.
I don't like this whole conspiracy thing. I'm not into that.
I don't think it's a conspiracy, Mike, but I think that the crowd at Madison Square Garden intimidates officials.
Oh, I think that's true. Yeah, I'm by that.
Yeah, I don't think.
They just kind of that whole kickball thing that was bizarre and it happened so fast. It's like they made a quick decision. The ball was suddenly going inbounds again before I go, what just happened here? Yeah, that was, but I think that was just the refs kind of mishandling a good situation as opposed to any perceived influence it might have had from up above.
No, I don't think the league went to the officials like, hey, rig the series. But I think that between the star power that's at those games, I'm being dead serious. Like, it's just human nature, right? Like you or I or John or anybody, if we're sitting there and the inclination is not to have everyone hate you. The inclination is to have people like you. So, like, so I would, even if it's 1 out of 100, 1 out of 200 times, I'm going to err on the side of not getting chewed out, just in any life activity. And
have an Al Franken approach, right? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I want people to love me. Let's do some mirror work the next time we see each other, Mike. Let's talk in the mirror. All right, Mike Gorman, love talking to you.
Yeah. You guys coming tomorrow night? Anybody coming tomorrow night?
There's a chance I might. So if I do, I will. If I do, I will text you. I will because I think they might give me a seat.
We'll try and blow past the 5 ushers to get down to where you are.
No, I'm not trying to do that. Mike is going to have to put a sign up that said Fred can come.
Yes.
All right, but Mike, I will text you if I'm there on Thursday. Thank you.
All right, sounds good.
All right, buddy, take it easy.
See you, Mike.
See you guys. Take care.
All right, there you go, Mike Gorman. When we come back, we talked about it. The Knicks fans are they're a little out of hand. And it's not the old Knicks fans, because the old Knicks fans are like Red Sox fans, are like Bruins fans.
They long suffering. It's been a while. I mean, they never come close to it.
No. Like what's going on with Knicks fans is interesting. Real quick. Because the old Knicks fans are super pissed at the young Knicks fans because they're like, you are going way too crazy. Like nothing has happened yet. They will ruin this. Yeah. There's going to be some kind of Charles Smith thing. There's going to be some kind of like ridiculousness.
John Starks is going to miss that 3 and it'll kill us.
Yeah, like there's something weird's going to happen. There's going to be the OJ chase. Something's going to happen that's going to screw everything up. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
527-3818 or go online to ComcastBusiness.com to switch today. In 623-20...
What's up?
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Billy Jaffe's going to come in to talk about the Bruins in tonight's game, which everyone is going to be very interested in, because I don't think it's going to be nearly as easy. It's going to be a lot tighter.
Yeah, but that's the one thing that people, I think, overlook, is that Florida had been off for a week. They were rusty. I think we'll get a better sense of where the Bruins stand in this series tonight.
See, I don't think they were rusty so much as that they're going to look at the tape and they're going to go, we just gave them too much space. Like, we're going to just tighten everything up. We're not going to give them any room.
Yeah.
I mean, they were going on and on in the broadcast about how they don't play a zone, blah, blah, blah. Like, what do I know about that?
Yeah,
I just know they're
Fluto was telling us this yesterday. Completely different style. Toronto was on top of them for 7 games. Florida gave them loads of room, and that will change. Fluto told us this yesterday. That's going to change tonight.
Yeah, I would imagine. But we mentioned it, the Knicks and Pacers. The Knicks were handed another game, which goes along with the couple they were handed in Philadelphia. They were handed the game against the Pacers. The Madison Square Garden crowd is going to frustrate. If the Knicks do indeed win this series, a couple calls are going to go against the Celtics, and it's going to frustrate you because that's just what happens at the Garden. I don't think it's from Adam Silver. I don't think there's a conspiracy. I do think, and there is proof, that the officials, especially in Madison Square Garden, are intimidated by the crowd. They just are. And Hardy, what are these fans up to?
These fans are celebrating after the Knicks closed out the series against Philadelphia. And Nick, you stumbled upon this, and our own Nicholas Gemelli is now really, really rooting for this Celtics-Knicks matchup, which seems like we're going to get just so we can get more fan reactions like the ones we're going to hear now.
Joel Embiid, come take these hands, bitch! We don't need cheesesteaks! That's Philly! Big Mill! Joe Biden! Yo, Philly, you can feel these nuts! Catch you in Philly! We gon' you up! I'll wipe my with that smoke some weed! Let's go! Let's go! Joel Embiid was sending your ass to China, so get ready to pay! Yo, let's go, Dr. DiVincenzo! The Italian! We are the New York Knicks!
All right, I'll tell you this. I'll repeat myself from last break. The older Knicks fans hate this. Hate it so much.
Wait, what part did they hate the...
I'll wipe my with that!
No, they hate the idea that they're excited. They're like...
Vincenzo, the Italian stallion.
I mean, are we just forgetting Sylvester Stallone is still alive and active on Instagram?
Yep.
The old Knicks fans are just like, oh, you idiots. They're gonna break your heart.
Let me play you the video of the late 90s and the Knicks trying to beat the Chicago Bulls in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Remember when everyone thought that they should have beat them in the Eastern Conference Finals? They should have beat Indiana in the Eastern Conference Finals. Does everyone need a video of super cute fan Spike Lee running around inspiring Reggie Miller to go crazy?
Scored like a dozen points in the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's right. Half of the reason because your super fan there started yelling. Spike Lee's learned his lesson a little bit.
I think you're right about that.
I might be wrong, but I don't recall him like running on the court anymore and standing at half court during play. He wears dumb outfits.
Suck on the New York! We had de Blasio, we had Cuomo, it was rough, but we have the Knicks. Bing bong. I'm from New
I agree with that. I'm not from New York, and I like that.
I understand. That's both a Nick and a Jet fan. I
Well,
understand.
as just a fan of people. Like, what, now you're such a big fan of his? Now he's just some weirdo with a weird face. Handsomer than ever, but, I mean, let's be honest. A lot of good work, but a lot of work.
Where the bread at, Tom Brady? I need some bread. If I had a sister, I'd let Jalen Brunson and the entire New York Knicks run a on her tonight.
I don't know. He's going to let them, on his girlfriend, run a train?
If I had a sister, I'd let Jalen Brunson and the entire New York Knicks run a on her tonight.
He's going to regret saying that.
Yeah.
I think he's going to wake up and go, maybe shouldn't have said that.
That was out of line.
The rest of the professors at NYU are very frowned upon that. They're not going to.
Let's go Columbia.
What was that guy doing?
He was Brumsky.
I'm finished.
Can you imagine if, like, the Knicks, like, rang his doorbell and they're like Jalen Brunson and, like, what's his name? OJ Abbott, whatever his name is. And they get up there and they're like, hey.
We understand there was
a train, and that you said something about a train.
If I had a sister, I'd let Jalen Brunson and the entire New York Knicks run a on her.
And then he's like, I wonder. He's like, I'm a cuckold, but now I'm offering up my sister. No,
smoke some weed.
Yeah.
That's not even good.
That's not even funny.
No.
That's what's coming up.
I'm glad they identify themselves as being from New York, because otherwise, how would you tell?
Well, they could have been Bruins fans, in fairness. Because that's the thing is that you said, do you send Nick out? We were like, do you send Nick out to the Celtics game last night? There's no reason. There's nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, what are people? People are like, oh yeah, hopefully I could get a cab.
Over the Bruins, Friday night, Sunday night. Well, I assume it's Sunday night, but yeah.
Yeah.
Where the bread at, Tom Brady? I need some bread.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah,
I honestly don't know what that means.
You better bring
I'm not
that,
being
Tom
cute.
Brady. I need some bread.
All right, Billy Jaffe is going to be joining us because it's time to get down to business. It's time to get down to the Bruins. We're very fortunate to have this going on right now. Let's talk to him.
More. Is 98.5, the Sports Hub, the Easily Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines.
Celtics pulled away from Cleveland in the fourth quarter for a 120-95 win in Game 1 of their best-of-7 second-round playoff series. Joe Mazzulla got 32 points from Jaylen Brown in the win.
He had a couple times where he scored in transition, and 2 plays later he slowed it down, went mid-pick and roll, and made the right play. I think the growth of him, even if he scores 6 or 8 in a row and he gets into the paint, it's a pass on the next one. So, he's grown as a player, and it's helped us, and, he's playing big stretches for us. So it's important.
Donovan Mitchell scored a game-high 33 for the visitors. Game 2 tomorrow night at TD Garden. The Bruins had last night off. They play the Panthers in Florida in Game 2 of their Eastern Conference semifinal playoff series tonight. The Bruins lead 1-0 Judd Surratt and Bob Beers have the pregame at 7 and the face-off at 7:30 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. San Jose won the NHL's draft lottery last night and the rights to would-be top prospect Macklin Celebrini of Boston University. The Patriots will reportedly interview Philadelphia Director of Scouting Brandon Hunt and Carolina salary cap manager Samir Suleiman today. They are looking for a top football executive. And the Atlanta Braves beat the Red Sox last night 4-2. Same 2 teams down in Atlanta tonight. Chris Sale will start for the Braves. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning. With over 50 trucks on the road because your clogged drain is their emergency, go to johnsewer.com. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
Marchand back of the net. He'll shoot. He scores!
This is Brad
Marchand.
Every Bruins game on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Now, more Tuncher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
You're brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel, and you can watch us on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube, and you'll have that going for you. Billy Jaffe is a Bruins analyst for Nesson, and he's delivered by Granite City Electric's GCE Night Train. Electrical contractors, get on board the GCE Night Train. Order your materials to be delivered overnight to the job site in the following morning. And save time and money. Go to GCEnighttrain.com. Billy joins us in studio this morning. Hello, Billy.
Morning, Fred.
A 5-1 win in Game 1.
Mm-hmm.
This was a Florida team that the Bruins had a 3-1 lead against last year in blue.
Mm-hmm.
Are the Bruins better equipped physically this year? And has Carolina lost any pieces that
Florida.
made them so? Oh, Florida. I'm sorry, Florida. They're both garbage franchises. Florida. I mean, I really get them confused all the time. It's like
It's the old Carolina Panther, Florida Panther thing.
yeah,
That's
like just
what it is.
crap.
I know.
Like it's all crap. Like they shouldn't have teams. All right, but they really shouldn't.
Hey, really? I'm with them on this.
I mean, really?
Does Northern Florida really need a
or does
professional
Raleigh,
team?
North Carolina need a team? All right. So anyway, so Florida has the Bruins.
Yes.
More equipped to handle it physically, and has Florida lost anything that makes them not as heavy as last year?
No, they didn't have Sam Bennett in the lineup, and he
He is a physical player. He's not huge. He's like 6'1", 200, but he has that attitude to him. Word is he could play tonight. It's the official getting.
He's on the first line, right?
Barkov line is the first line. Bennett would be. You would call the second line.
Okay, he's on the second line.
That's the point, Fred. He comes back in the lineup, and he makes some really strong top two lines. I mean, you got your 1A and 1B. He came in, and last year he gave it to the Bees. He's got swagger to him. He's not their highest goal scorer. He isn't their biggest player, but he's got that all-around attitude that helps complete the lineup big time. No, they haven't lost anything per se, Fred. But
nothing on defense. Nothing. No heavy forwards. Nothing that they're missing from last year. Because Ekman Larsson's kind of a pussy.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, but they They added the Mikkola kid to play with. And Mikkola's been up at. Remember, Marchand scrapped with him one game later this year. But he's a big kid. You know who didn't play well first game is Forsling and Ekblad. Neither of those guys played very well at all. Ekblad looked like he was off big time.
There was the I think it was the Carlo goal that the Ekblad was in front of Bobrovsky.
Because Marchand had brought him there.
And Marchand had brought him there. I understand you're sticking to Marchand like glue. You're not going to let Marchand slip over to that glove side and score from that sweet spot of his. But you can't screen your own goalie. And if Marchand is standing in front of your goalie, you got to move him out of there.
Yeah.
It's weird.
He just didn't. He didn't look good. He didn't move well. The one that really surprised me was Forsling, who's become their best all-around defenseman. Anyway, you didn't really notice Montour, who's I think a very dangerous defenseman too when he gets moving, especially through the neutral zone and the ozone. With all that said, Fred, for the most part, unless I'm forgetting somebody, their big guys are all back.
Okay,
they're big guys like Barkov. The best part about Game 1 in my eyes, besides the Bruins' responses, they had numerous responses in that game that were really important. Not just the goal in minute 7 after the first goal, but that was obviously huge. But there were other moments where they responded. The timeout, and I know you guys talked about that yesterday. The timeout was a response to the 11 shots that Florida had in the first 5 minutes of the third, like where the Bruins responded to that and they settled down. So I thought that was great. But you've got the big guys for Florida, and I cannot imagine tonight that they are not absolutely 5 times more physical than they were in Game 1, they being Florida. I look for them to be much more involved in the scrums after the whistle. They are the team that does more of that crap in the NHL than anybody, and Tkachuk usually leads the way and then slithers out. So if you're the Bruins, don't get invested in those scrums. Those will tire you out, and you never know when the official's just going to call one player versus the other for a penalty. But there's no team better in the league than the Florida Panthers at starting scrums and then jumping away. And getting out of them right there. I think they're going to be looking to run around and be more physical because they were nowhere near as physical. And this is what Paul Maurice wants. He wants this team to be absolutely nasty and hard to play against.
Okay, so they were talking about the way that Carolina on the broadcast, they play defense, saying that they don't play zone. They play like
man-to-man, more of a man-to-man.
All right, so is that... Explain to the layman, us, me especially, if this man-to-man defense, does that lead to more open ice? How does that affect things?
It could, yeah. So so if you think about zones, so to speak, like a zone, like the Bruins play a hybrid kind of defense, right, where the D-men aren't chasing all the way up. They're staying to a quadrant, to an area. They're protecting. They have strong side, but then you've got the weak side guy. Instead of chasing a guy all the way up to the point, imagine that. Even in basketball, a guy chasing him all the way up top, then that quadrant would be open. So the Bruins have handoffs. They've got mark areas where you hand off, et cetera, that player, okay, the opponent. Florida likes to be very aggressive. They love to swarm in the D zone, and they love to be aggressive man-to-man in certain areas when they can. That means if you can open up, especially with some low to high or high ice, and bring them up, maybe you can find some open ice middle or low again. You've got to move the puck. You've got to move the puck against them because I think it'll break them down. There's less that, and then move it, break them down, and see if you can get it. Again, if you can bring a guy to the middle high, and if you bring that guy with him, a D's chasing you, chip it back down, and try and expose a forward down low.
You talk about blocking shots. Can we get Hampus Lindholm maybe to lay out and block a shot as opposed to letting it go off of him and stand there and make a half-ass attempt? Because that first goal, that's the thing that frustrates me. When you see that, it's kind of like that half measure.
He got caught in between there. He absolutely got caught in between, but it was also the play before that, Hardy, too, where the puck is transitioned. It's not broken out well. You get a forward who's a little bit higher. We talked about this during intermission on Nesson. Beecher was above the puck a little too much. The bank pass by McAvoy on the backhand didn't connect.
Right.
So then if you're that weak side D, so one of the things you're doing, if that breakout play connects, let's say, to the strong side, meaning Beecher swings, let's say he stays middle ice and he catches the puck, or he doesn't be as high above and he gets it. What is Lindholm's job right there then? To get on his horse, get his butt moving up the ice to relieve pass on the weak side too.
Okay.
But meanwhile, the puck is transition. Then he puts the brakes on. He comes back and he gets caught in no man's land. And if you're leaving your feet there, you better be sure that you get it.
I understand what you're saying. If McAvoy and Beecher don't turn it over in their own zone like that, then Lindholm isn't necessarily caught in that
Probably,
kind of no man's land. Okay.
All of that. The breakdown starts with Beecher's route. I was with Brick during the other night, and he talked about that. And then McAvoy on the backhand pass. It's a breakdown. But again, the response to that, and I get what you're saying, because you don't want to see your D get caught in the middle. And he was, and the puck ticked off his leg, and it goes in. We've seen, but remember, we saw McAvoy have it go off him too a few games ago.
And I didn't like that one either.
That one especially, because that was no man's land right there.
Yeah.
But I love the response. The shift after, just loved the response from the Bruins.
How do you think Lindholm played in Game 1? Because he struggled a lot against Toronto.
He did until that. He had one good game early in the series, and then he struggled, and then he had that great last game. Even though I think, if I remember correctly, had a turnover too earlier on, or some in-betweeners early on.
So take away that deflection for obvious reasons.
Yeah, no, I thought he played pretty good. I did. I thought... Listen, I thought all the Bruins coming off of the series, the travel, the lack of rest, but obviously they're on adrenaline. Carlo absolutely on adrenaline. I thought Lindholm and the guys, they played well. Remember, you had different pairs, and so you had Carlo and for the most part Carlo and Lowry, and then Lindholm and McAvoy. I mean, I thought they were okay. I didn't think this is the best part about the game. I thought some of the Bruins' best players were just okay, and so if they can get better, that's highly encouraging. But tonight is going to be, I can't believe it's not going to be, significantly different in the sense of what you end up getting from the Florida Panthers. By the way, Florida had some real moments of goodness in that game where they controlled, they just didn't finish.
Oh my God, 11 shots in a row at
early
one
in the
point.
in the third,
and then 7, or maybe it was more than that led to the timeout. Let me ask you.
Let's break. And then
Is he going to stay with us?
Yeah, he's going to stay.
Oh, cool.
It's the playoffs. It's playoffs, Jaffe.
Okay. Oh, I love
playoff Jaffe.
Playoff Jaffe.
You got playoff Jaffe.
Whoa.
You get playoff Jaffe.
Very cool.
I have a question about another response when we come back.
I mean, usually who usually we're just like, Jaffe's coming in.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
No,
usually we're
segment.
just getting to the first question of the segment about right now.
Well, just playoff Jaffe.
Right.
Playoff Jaffe. I like that.
Now we're all on pins and needles about playoff Jaffe. You can take this, Nick. Don't worry. I'm handing it. Nick's in here taking some papers. Don't worry about him. All right. 1, 2, 3.
He's looking back at
He's
6.
purposely walking.
He slowed down on purpose.
Yeah,
just
on
for you.
purpose, in quotes. Let's take some 13 seconds. How long would you say that, Jaffe? How long would you say this door to that door is that he just walked? How long in distance? No. Just in distance. How long would you say?
Looked like Maroon.
30 feet? 40?
Yeah, 12 seconds to walk 30 feet.
40 feet?
Yeah. That's about right.
That's impressive.
Yeah. He's taking his time.
He's a shuffler.
Yeah.
Well, he's more like a sassy wiggler.
Sassy Mosey.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll return in just a moment with more Billy Jaffe. Your calls to 617-779-0985.
checked out, you would have seen that it was. No, we did get it out Tuesday morning.
By 5 o'clock?
No, 6. Sorry, buddy. Sorry. 6
Tried to listen to it on the way in.
I've tried that a couple of times, and I'm like, why is this the last podcast? Is there something that you want it to drop at a certain time? You don't want it to drop right after you get it done?
We try to drop it. Sometimes depends what time we get it done, what time our producer can clip it and get it out. But we have a regular release at 6 a.m. Although I say that, and then tonight, because we're Razors down south, I'm going to be heading to the NHL Network, and we're probably not going to get it out until mid-morning tomorrow, just because of where we're. I know.
God,
I know.
Why don't you put it out over the weekend? Why don't you do the Wednesday post-game podcast? Put it out like on Sunday.
Just as effective.
Yeah, give us a little bit more of a breather.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Very good.
Yeah, okay.
All right,
I'd
Billy
like to say
Jaffe.
something, but
Where's the hat?
Radio. Yeah.
Thanks for the merch today. I
did screw
appreciate
up on
that.
All of a sudden, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I did forget about that.
You offered.
I didn't say that I didn't offer. I said that I screwed up. Okay. Anyways, yes.
All right, Hardy, you had a question before I so rudely interrupted
Yes, let's
you.
talk.
You're talking about responses, how you like the Bruins' response.
I did.
I did like the response on the penalty kill after the too many men on the ice penalty.
Oof.
I did not like the penalty. What the hell?
I don't disagree. It's now 4 in the playoffs.
Billy, it wasn't a sloppy line change.
No.
They had
It was 6. It was 6.
They
on
had
the
6
ice.
guys playing out in front.
Yeah, I know.
All playing hockey. Hey, over here, I'm wide open.
Players, right?
Nobody was doing the old, oh crap, I better get off.
Why is there no one around me?
Funny thing is, like the ESPN telecast, you don't always see things. They finally got a replay on this one, and then you see it. And
there's a shot.
And
There's a shot.
There should be 6 of us out here.
Analysis, and then you see 6 that are fully on the ice. Usually when it's too many men, you see one guy jump on, and then you're like 3 seconds later jumping off. No, this was 6. Communication from player to player, from coach to player, whatever it is, has got to get better. I cannot stress that enough. Again, we talked about this on the air. Are you matching up against an opponent's line? Meaning if you could say, hey, Fred, you're going out every time against when 16's on the ice or whatever. And so you keep, looking again. We were talking about this with Brick and Soph the other night during one of the intermissions that we did streaming, and that maybe could have what happened. I mean, not being down there, you don't get a chance to ask it. Regardless, your communication has to be better, and it's on everybody. It's on everybody now. It's got to start with the coaches, and then it's the players. Your communication has got to be better because 4 too many men on the ice in 8 games now, not good.
All right, the goaltending we talked about.
That's been good.
Yeah, it has been amazing. Even I get that.
Yeah.
Bob Beers was on with us yesterday, and he said that if he was he said he didn't have any inside information, but if he was coaching the Bruins, he would play Allmark either tonight or in Game 3.
Mm-hmm.
Because in his point was that he doesn't want a situation where Swayman eventually gets fatigued and starts to struggle, and then they got to put Allmark in. Thinks it's better to do it before then.
I would agree.
If you were the coach of the Bruins, this is not what you think is going to happen. This isn't. You did talk to someone. If you were the coach of the Bruins, how would you handle the goaltending tonight in Game 3?
I would go Swayman one more, and then I would go plan on Allmark for 3. I would go. I'd say, obviously, use communication with Sway. Go talk to Jeremy. Physically, how are you? You're in literally a different climate down there. It is hot. It is humid down there. How are you feeling? How are you holding up? I know that's off the ice, but that does impact you. How you're going to get on. If he's in that, he still feels he's in that zone. Great. You didn't steal Game 1, but you won Game 1, and he was major, obviously significant part of it. I'd ride him, and then I'd say to Linus, you're going in Game 3, be ready. And you get him back there, and then you give him Sway a couple of days to reset and get back for 4.
All right. So, and what if just Swayman has another game like Game 1 where he's electrifying, phenomenal? Do you still do that? Or is it messing with things too much? Because it opens Montgomery up to a lot. I get the logic behind it, but if Swayman's, again, really
travel,
good.
because you're not traveling until tomorrow, midday, and you're coming back.
Every NHL team, every playoff team wants a goaltender like the one you have right now.
Well, you don't influence the man.
He's not influencing. It's a valid point.
opinion.
We've talked about it too.
How valid is it, John?
I kept saying before the series that you're going to see Linus at some point, and so I still think you're going to see him. I mean, if Sway has that kind of off the chart game again, Fred, I mean, it's going to make me think. It is. It is going to make me think even more.
Can we call him Sway if he's not wearing a hat?
Pardon me? Oh, sorry, Jeremy Swayman.
Do you know who Sway is? Do you know who Sway is?
No.
The Sway? Sway, the most famous Sway?
No. Who?
I apologize to our African-American audience. He's just a very, very influential hip-hop DJ.
Oh, okay. So Jeremy
It's
Swayman. I'll refer to him as Jeremy from here on out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I learn something every day coming.
I mean,
You're welcome.
so you would go Swayman tonight.
I would. I'd go Sway.
Allmark in Game 3.
You're down there. I think it's you're going to put. Look, I've been wrong about what they've been doing a lot of the time.
Again tonight, like he did in Game 1, then you'd be a fool to go away from him. And this whole idea of like him not getting enough rest. He's 25 years old. The kid could play every day. Could he not?
Let's go to Jack. Jack, go ahead, sir.
Hey, you got to get Allmark in tonight because if you put him in front of that Bruins crowd and he lets up an early goal, the chance are going to be for Swayman, and that's going to just ruin him.
Okay. Is that? I mean, should Montgomery concern himself with the crowd?
No, I don't think. I actually. I appreciate the
It's
thoughtfulness.
It's something else
the
to
thoughtfulness
consider,
of,
sure,
yeah,
for a
that's what I'm
second,
saying.
but
It's a thing that you take into consideration, but
I wouldn't consider changing goalies, period. Not now.
I guess if we're at this
You've
point,
got the guy.
if we're
You've
at
got
this
him.
point, yeah, you're at this point. All right, but I'm looking at tonight. I just think you're gonna see Linus at some point. I just do. And I don't think that it's a bad thing. I don't think it's, but maybe we aren't giving Jeremy enough consideration with regard to being able to handle. I mean, I said to Razor the night on Brew, which you guys didn't hear at 5 a.m. Sorry, that one of the great things that we're seeing, and there was always the worry about the fatigue factor because these guys haven't done it at the NHL level. Jeremy Swayman played all 34 games his last year at Maine, but that's such a different schedule. It's 34 versus, a 55 to 60 NHL game season. But people are saying, well, he handled it there, but you're playing 2 games a week. You've all week off per se, practice, et cetera, and then you play usually Friday, Saturday. So that's a different thing.
Okay, but I've also heard the argument that Swayman got to rest for half the season, and that due to that rest during the regular season, that would make him more able to handle this playoff push.
You can cut it up. You can slice and dice it a lot of different ways.
It's just Montgomery opens himself up to such second guessing if he, and both you and Beers, who know far more about hockey than anyone on this station.
But I've been far more wrong about this whole thing.
But you're not making a prediction.
Yeah.
You're saying what you would do.
Yeah,
and so that's what's interesting about it is that you would do it, and I don't think he will, because I just think that if Swayman if Swayman doesn't play well tonight, then he's going to play Allmark in Game 3. But if Swayman plays well tonight, I just think the last time he messed with the lineup to the degree that I know the lineup was different in this Florida series. It's a different series.
It's a different series, and you have to massage it for who you're playing.
Yeah, but if you but when he messed with the lineup against Toronto mid-series, he screwed things up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe not screw around with things so much.
Let's just look. The easy answer is what you've also. Let's see how tonight goes. Let's really see how tonight goes, and I'd be very surprised if it isn't Jeremy in that tonight. It's got to be.
Okay,
of course.
Okay.
All right. Well, Billy Jaffe, it's been an
Jaffe.
honor.
Playoff
Jaffe.
Good to see you.
You know what? Let's take a couple more phone calls because we got a couple minutes with Billy. I was going to end on time, but then I figured.
Why start now?
Why start
Going
now?
rogue. I like it. Rogue Fred.
Rogue Fred. Everyone's favorite. Carlos, go ahead.
Yes, I don't know why everybody's thinking about putting in Linus Allmark. Why just not stay with Jeremy Swayman? It's just crazy to think that. I mean, the kid's 25 years old. He can play till the playoffs are done. That's all I got to say.
Well, you agree with Hardy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Hardy put it so much more succinctly. Danny, go ahead.
Hi, guys. Yeah, just a statement. I think you put Allmark in tonight because what are the odds that the Bruins are going to win 2 in Florida? Very, very little. So you make Allmark the sacrificial lamb, okay? Swayman still in the head of the Panthers. They say we still haven't beaten Swayman yet. We got to go back to Boston, and the odds are, we're not going to beat them. So just get in their heads that way, okay?
Yeah, I like that. Concede game 2. Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
Well, no. If anything, the crowd thing made more sense than that. You could play Swayman tonight, and if he plays out of his mind, you're not going to lose. I mean, it's very. I mean, I know he played very well against Toronto in games that they lost, but if Swayman stands on his head, the chances of you losing the game are not that great. You know what I'm like? That both goaltenders are going to stand on their head, and the Bruins are going to be crippled offensively. Swayman's going to stop everything that comes at him, and you're going to lose. Okay, here's the exercise, Billy. Is Florida the kind of team where Swayman can play Tim Thomas 2011 style, just making crazy saves? Is Florida a team defensively that can keep if in a 1-0, 2-1 game that the Bruins should be concerned about?
They should be, yeah, because Florida's much better than what they showed the other night. Florida's going to get to
the front. Goaltending much better than what they showed?
No, that's the question I was going to get to about Bobrovsky. He needs to be better. But by the way, you can make the argument Bobrovsky probably won't win the Vezina, but he was is a finalist for it this year.
Allmark was the Vezina winner last year and sucked against Florida.
Yes.
Thank you.
But Hellebuck will probably win it.
Sit right back, Fred.
Yes.
You stuck the landing.
Yes, Rogue Fred
very good.
wins the segment.
There's plenty of reasons.
But
go ahead. Go ahead.
But Florida is, and Bobrovsky, I felt, did not show himself very well in game 1. Again, puck touches at times, a lot of movement, beaten up high. We saw in those first 3 goals. The Bruins did a nice job of getting to him there. He is incredibly, he's got a lot of movement to his game. He's incredibly active. And with that said, he can make some unbelievable saves. He made a save in the first round against Tampa that might be the save, forget of the year, save of the last 10 years, right? But that's his athleticism. But on the other hand, he can get himself tucked into some spots that are not exactly ideal, and the Bruins have to expose it. With all that said, are they a team? Yeah, I mean, this is a damn good team, Fred. I mean, you're talking about Reinhart with almost 60 goals this year, Barkov with a dominant year. He's going to win the Selke. Tkachuk with a second half. And I think they're going to be all around the front of the net tonight. I thought they were decently in and out, but they have talked ad nauseum since the end of game 1, guys, about not being there. That will be even a more physical game, I think, for Swayman having to deal with bodies in front of the net.
All right, very good. Billy Jaffe, excellent job. Love it. Love that the Bruins, we can talk about them. Love that I don't have to drag you through your uncomfortable talking about anything but hockey.
I appreciate it.
But it's exciting. It's so funny, and it sounds like cheerleaderly, but I never am. I didn't realize how much I care about the Bruins until they won that Game 7. I didn't realize how much until they beat Toronto. Like how much it meant to me.
But you've always said how much you appreciate the Bruins and how much you like them.
I've adopted. The only team locally I've adopted is the Bruins, but like I didn't realize the degree of it that like personally, like it goes beyond the job. Like when they won in overtime, I felt like good the next day. Like it like literally affected my mood.
Yeah,
that's sad.
No, it's not. It's great.
A little sad. It's like that. It's dopamine's being released because the Bruins win.
Playoff
something I have no control over. That's not what the Buddha suggests. They don't say completely rely on things you can't control for happiness.
Just be thankful that you felt good afterwards. That's all, and move along.
Nice.
I like that, John.
Thanks.
Thanks, Billy. Everyone listen to the Morning Brew. It doesn't come out till like 4:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
But
you have to wait, but it's well worth it.
It starts right during the next game. They have the recap of the last game.
Like a relay. Just you listen to the analysis of the first game.
It comes out right after they drop the puck for the second period.
Well, I mean, to be fair, maybe we're being a little prickish by complaining about it not being out at 4 a.m.
Okay, so if you want to know my way I think, if everyone's curious, so you think that's being a prick? In my mind,
I think I'm being a prick.
Okay,
yes.
no, but in my mind, I think we're being really nice because we're like, dude, we wanted to hear your podcast so bad that we wanted to hear it at 5 in the morning, and we're disappointed it wasn't out. So I'm
Just
starting
for
to
you
realize
guys-
I do things I think that are nice, and I'm so insane that the things I think that are nice are actually being a dick. Because I thought, like, oh, dude, I wanted to hear your podcast so bad. Why wasn't it out? And then Hardy's telling me, well, we're being dicks because we're giving them crap for
Maybe
it
in
not
the
being out.
playoffs we'll call it the T&H early release. Maybe.
I like that.
Ooh.
If
How
you
about
want
that?
me to be a guest on your podcast, I mean, you and I were going.
You know
to
what?
be-
I offered up some of my analysis to Billy the other night, and he was such a prick about it because there was another.
What did I do?
There was another goal scored late in the second, in the final minute of the second period. I'm like, hey, Billy, it's my theory. It's all coming home to roost again.
You said it's
And
your
you're like-
astute analysis, if I remember that. And I said, yes, very astute.
No, you said, what about the other goal? And
Oh, yeah.
you just kind of
Well, I just
dismissed
wanted to
it.
ask about those two.
You were dismissive. You know what you were doing.
All right.
Safe travels,
Good
Billy.
to see you guys.
All right, Billy Jaffe.
Let's have some fun tonight, all right?
That's going to be fantastic.
That's right.
Positive note.
The Bill Man, the Jaff Man. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. We can even take these phone calls. Stay on the line if you want to talk about the Bruins. Why not? So babysit these calls. Ryan. Kyle. You know Kyle? Nicholas! Put a sign up with his name!
Just put it on the window.
Put it on the window! All right, we'll be right back.
Sports Hub headlines.
Jaylen Brown scored 32 points. Celtics beat Cleveland.
possibly have missed from the show. It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
Good everyone who calls.
Oh, I change it up a little bit, and mostly I only do it if the kids are in the car because they're horrifically embarrassed and they think I'm being mean.
Oh, my kids love it.
Oh, they see?
my kids think I'm funny for some unknown reason. All right, so this is what I do. Telemarketer just called. You be the telemarketer. Just do your normal voice.
Okay. Hello, is
Hi,
this Mr.
yeah, hi.
Yeah,
is this who, you're looking for whom?
Mr. Totker?
No, it's fun because a lot of people mispronounce it.
Okay, my name is Kyram, and I am...
Excuse me?
Kyram, and I am...
Excuse me. What an unusual name. What is it? Can you
Kyram?
spell it?
Well, I'm calling today...
Hello, hi. There's a Frank called Kyam Franks. But you probably don't. Are you in the United States?
So
do you have hot dogs where you live?
So during the break, this all happened as Fred is doing it just now, and the guy was trying
20
to get
seconds before we came back, he answered the phone.
Trying to get into his pitch, and then Fred was saying, well, that's interesting. You probably don't eat hot dogs, do you?
Because are you in India? Do they eat hot dogs in India?
See, I completely rip off like Saul Rosenberg. So someone will say, hello, is this Mr. Pooley? Oh, my God. Yes.
Yeah, right.
Oh, my God.
So you're selling solar. Just keep telling me you're selling solar. Go ahead.
Hello, may I speak to Mr. Tolker about solar energy?
You're selling solar energy.
Yes. Are you aware?
The sun, right? That's the sun.
That's correct.
Will it save me money?
You could.
So is it solar means the sun?
You could save
I don't know. Is my roof going to be covered with all kinds of contraptions?
You currently know what you're paying for.
What if it's a rainy day? And then you let him talk for a long time, and you go, I missed that. And then you're stuck in traffic, and that's how you kill time. Toucher and Hardy is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. The Stack is brought to you by Best Ford in Nashua. Looking for great deals on new Fords? Go to the Best first. Best Ford in Nashua. Head to bestfordnh.com. All right. Phil, go ahead.
Thanks, guys. Jerky Boys corrupted a whole generation.
The Jerky Boys is the hardest I've ever laughed at anything when I first heard it. I can't tell you the influence it has.
Did you have the bootlegs before
I
they
did
were?
not.
Oh, my God. We had them. We had the bootlegs of that and the tube bar, which you cannot play on the air.
Yeah.
But when he used to call the bar over and over again, all those cassettes from New York, people used to come back with them.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the Mo from The Simpsons is based on. Yes. All right, Phil, go ahead. What do you got?
All right. Listen, everyone's doom and gloom if Swayman doesn't play. Does anybody realize that Linus owns the Panthers? He's like 12-3 and 3-0 this year against them alone. He was good against Toronto, and if Swayman gets a game of rest after that challenging game that he played the other night, he took some shots. He got stretched out. I mean, it's not like we're conceding anything. Linus has been really, really good against Florida, and he was awesome in the start against Toronto. We lost the game, but he played a hell of a game.
I thought he should
understand why everyone's doom and gloom.
I thought he should start game one. I was with you. His success against Florida, the short time between the series, less than 48 hours. I thought Allmark should start game one. I see exactly where you're coming from. I just think it's extremely difficult with Swayman playing this way. We were talking to Jaffe about it off there. He's out of his mind right now. And here's what Jaffe said. We all kind of agreed. Is Jaffe said, if Swayman plays tonight and he's okay, right? We all kind of agreed on this. He's okay. He's not bad. He's okay. He's not standing on his head. Say he allows 2-3 goals. Three goals.
Yeah.
Montgomery can go. It's like, it's time to give Jeremy a day
Now
off.
he looks tired. That's great. But right now, Jeremy Swayman is the best goaltender in the playoffs. You don't sit that down until you see something different.
Well, that's my point. I'm not doom and gloom. I'm just saying, give me a reason to not play Swayman.
Yeah, it's less about Linus. It's more about Swayman.
Well, if you need Allmark, play him then. Don't play him until you need him. You don't need him.
Well, the idea is you do. It's more than if you need him, kind of, because it is an advantage that you have. Is that I'm with you. You don't play him until Swayman looks like he's at all getting fatigued. But if there is a game like tonight, and he doesn't have to look bad, he doesn't have to give up 5 goals. But if he just looks okay, that's all the excuse you need. Because other than that, we saw during a series when they tinkered with the lineup against Toronto, it backfired on Montgomery. I think he learned his lesson. It's not the same as going into the Florida series and tinkering with the lineup because it's a different series. Mid-series, breaking with success, not the greatest idea. But even if the Bruins win like 5-4 tonight or something like that, playing Allmark in Game 3 is not out of the question. Joe, go ahead.
Hey, how's it going, Fred? How's it going, Hardy?
Hey, what's up?
First time caller, long time listener. I was going to talk about the Bruins, but you guys had me chuckling about the telemarketers earlier. So I wanted to ask you, Fred, what would you do, or what do you do when a Jehovah's Witness shows up to your house?
I've never had the pleasure. I have never had the pleasure. But if my kids were home, you better bet your ass I'm inviting them in. And I've got questions. If you missed it earlier in the show, I was telling them how I do that to telemarketers when my kids are in the car. I don't do it when I'm alone, but when the kids are in the car. And I pissed one guy off, and he kept calling back. And it was so funny to me because it was like, who is this more of a problem for? You, who's at work, I imagine working on some sort of commission. It can't be by call because that's of no use to me if I own the business. So you're the one wasting your time. And I just started having Zoe pick up the phone. It's like, what, are you going to mess with some little girl? Like, here you go. Say whatever you want.
I engaged one of the witnesses once. It was in my driveway, and you think it's going to be fun, and you think you're going to be able to.
No, I would just bring them in to bother my kids.
Oh, okay, all right. Because I thought I was going to be able to have a conversation. You can't win. You can't win.
We had Mormons around in Atlanta, like you would see kids like on 90-degree days wearing suits, like 18-year-olds, and you'd be like, oh boy. And they were just so nice.
Oh, I have a lot of friends who grew up either LDS
or the goalie situation, and I think it's Swayman's net, and he deserves it because of last year. Allmark cost us the series. Because he didn't.
Was Allmark bad before he was injured, though, in that series? Because I don't recall Allmark being bad in that series.
No, I don't think he was.
Right.
I don't think he was at all.
Right.
But I think as a team player, he didn't want to lose the job to Swayman.
Sure.
And as selfishly, I think he kept that injury to himself, and it cost us. And I don't think Montgomery forgot that.
I just think it's lunacy, and I think it's the definition of overthinking. And Allmark has not been bad. I don't think it's a disaster you put Allmark in. But Swayman also played well all year. He has now played very well in 7 games of this series.
This playoffs, yeah.
Yeah. Of these playoffs, yeah. So why do you take him out again? Because the other guy can do it. That's fine. But we know what we've got in Swayman right now.
Plus, Swayman's like crazy. Like when you hear him talk and see him smile, like he's got that like he's on another planet kind of thing. Like he's obviously been trained since he was a little kid in Alaska. Like he's like on this whole other like Zen mental plane.
He's laughing at, like, there's a scrum in the crease,
well,
and
that
they're looking for the puck.
Yeah. And there was a lot of
there were like
that
9
massive
bodies.
one where he was sprawled, and there was legit, dude, like 9 bodies, like on like laying on him,
and he's like looking to the side, going, "This looks like this is fun. This is
like
awesome."
And you hear him talk after the game about Montgomery, and he's like, Jim is just, like he's like one of these Mac Jones guys, but like in a good way. Like his parents and coaches, they've all like mentally trained him to be incredibly cool under pressure, and he's just feeling it right now. Now watch, they'll lose 7-0 tonight, but.
Jack and Apria sent me an email saying exactly, and he sent this a while ago, but saying exactly what I just said. He goes, it's insanity that you would take him out. Stop overthinking. It's the definition of overthinking.
Well, at least
Play
it's a
Swayman
Prius
tonight.
and not a
Plays
Tesla.
well. Play again tomorrow night. The Tesla's a real problem.
They're a real problem.
They're a real
because now
problem.
they got the old people doing them. One email, you got it too, from Andy Jones, not really into professional wrestling, but I couldn't believe you would leave off your racist wrestler racehorse admission. Erwin R. Shyster, IRS, maybe not technically racist, but this character fit perfectly for today's game. He was an extremely stereotypical Jewish tax collector.
That was a wrestler?
Yeah, he's like real. He's got glasses.
Yeah, there it is. I saw the email. Yeah, I just.
Erwin R. Scheister.
Nice.
All right, everyone, enjoy the game tonight. 7:30 game. Pre-game starts at 7. They should have Felger and Maz go to 7. I don't like when they put the baseball hour on a playoff game night. Come on, Rick. Let's get with it.
I don't know. I think I will.
But the baseball hours got sponsors. And they would be really mortified if they had to be on Felger and Maz. Now, that was a little more original. That wasn't full Baba Booey. That had a little Milo in it. Hardy was doing the bird thing to Milo, and Milo wasn't having it.
Well,
you did that?
No, a little bit. And Milo last night, was it you or Milo thought when they were chanting Derek White, they were saying Jared Goff?
Oh, yeah. Milo was like, it's not, no, he didn't think they were.
But
Hardy busted Milo's balls for something he shouldn't have. Milo said, yeah, it's weird. It sounds like they're saying Jared Goff. He didn't think they were saying Jared Goff. And so I said, oh, they're saying Jared Goff. And he was like laughing. And then Hardy's like, you thought they were saying Jared Goff, dumbass?
I did not.
And then my son was like, dude, I'm going to kick
Boy,
his
these
ass.
Celtics fans are real stupid. Cheering for Jared Goff. He's not even in the building.
I'm gonna let him beat you up.
Yeah.
Oh,
That doesn't sound like you at all, Hardy.
Let him. He could just do it if he wanted to.
All right. Well, I'm going to let him off the chain. That's a young man at the height of his physical powers.
I told you how much I enjoyed hanging with
I'm
Milo
kidding.
last
I'm
night.
kidding. I'm kidding. Of course, I'm kidding. If it really bothered me, I wouldn't say it on the air. No, everyone had a great time. It was fantastic.
There we go. Now we're done.
All right, now we're done. All right, everyone have a great day. Bye.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports